1960. Powered by Gateway Chevrolet, Cadillac, Nissan, and Hyundai in Fargo.
And here's what you need to know.
The NFL and the NFLPA today approved a new helmet that is specifically designed to reduce the number of concussions suffered by quarterbacks, and it will be available for the 2023 season. The Cleveland Browns will once again play their home games at Cleveland Browns Stadium after the team and utility company First Energy agreed to end their naming rights agreement. NFL media reports former first-round pick and free agent receiver Laquan Treadwell is visiting with the 49ers today. In basketball, California high school guard A.J. Johnson, a projected lottery pick in next year's draft, has decommitted from Texas and will instead play in the National Basketball League in Australia. In the NHL, the Blackhawks announced they will not re-sign Jonathan Toews. Tonight's regular season finale against the Flyers will serve as a send-off for Chicago's longtime captain. And the Women's Tennis Association announced it will bring tour events back to China. I'm Nick Cope.
This is The Insiders, taking you inside the lines and behind the scenes of NDSU and around the region.
I hang heavy on your thoughts because you are the Bison gods.
That should be a penalty.
The Insiders.
Do you have any other questions?
You know it.
The Insiders are presented by Proseed. Need seed? Think Proseed.
Okay, so what are you saying?
These guys do an unbelievable job, and tune into the Insiders.
I did have one. I do not apologize for taking it out of the six-pack.
First thing you should know about us is that we have people everywhere.
The Insider. The Insider. The Insiders.
The prices were that shocking. I wasn't listening. I'm an old soul.
Now, here are the Insiders.
Well, we're waiting.
The wait is over. It is a Thursday with you on the Insiders. Andy Rickoff, Kyle Emanuel, Micah Bendy, crew all here for you today. 2-hour tour of some sports talk with you. Kind of feels like a Friday a bit. Am I the only one that's been feeling like it was a Friday and then realizing again that it was actually a Thursday and a little bit disappointed? Is that just me this week?
Well, my week didn't start till Tuesday.
That's fair basically. For you. This feels like a Wednesday almost for you at this point.
So it doesn't really feel like Friday.
And for some reason, I was feeling like a Friday. Like all week. Even yesterday, I was feeling like, oh, tomorrow's Friday. And then I realized, no, it's not. What am I doing? Tomorrow's not Friday. So
you will be here tomorrow?
I will.
Okay.
I'm going to try and make sure I set my alarms. I might need extra ones. You never know. Cause I'm just going to feel like it's a Saturday. But
if not, I'll be ready to go.
There you go. You can host the show. You've done it a couple times.
Yeah.
You guys know what you're doing at this point.
Once,
and then you had to start it once as well.
Yeah.
When I was in Oregon.
1.2 times.
And I swear that whole time when you started that show, because the open almost, the music was playing for a good minute or so. I was talking.
I believe that.
I was in my hotel room just like, hello, how we doing? Live from Eugene. And then eventually you started talking. I was like, I'm clearly not on air anymore. Okay, sounds good. Reconnect. And that's the life of radio on the road, a little behind the scenes for all of our listeners today. But did a great job covering up that day. It was good.
Thank you.
You nervous?
I was nervous every other time after that. Because every time I stopped talking, I didn't know if you were going to start.
Yeah. There's a little bit of a delay.
Right.
That's what happens around the road usually. So sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. You get a little bit better. Again, that's just technology when you're coast to coast like we are.
Or the next day. The next day, which was way better.
It was way better, yep.
I actually was typing out like an open. Like I was getting ready to go. Like, you never know.
Just in case.
Just in case those words don't start coming out of his mouth, I got to be ready to go.
One of these days, if I'm ever on the road again, I'll be perfectly fine and connected. I'm just not going to say anything. I'll act like I didn't connect, and then we'll see how long it takes.
I'll be ready.
Jump on in.
I will
there.
never not be ready again.
I'm sure. After one time, you're always ready. After that, looking forward to today's show. Got a couple of good guests for you. Big NDSU day for you as well. Darren Mueller, head softball coach, will join us today at 11:30. NDSU softball continuing to run right through the Summit League Conference as a whole, winning all their series so far, and now they head down to South Dakota to take on the defending champs, take on SDSU down in Brookings. The Jacks, a new coach this year, the coaching change after last season, and they've started to they're clearly, as a defending champ, they're right there with NDSU. The Bison had that really long stretch. SDSU's now kind of taken over that top spot. You want to get back on top. This has formed into a really good rivalry on the softball diamond as well. So talk to Darren about that. And how close are we to softball at Thurlton Park? Saw the clear off of all the snow earlier this week. I get his thoughts on that. And from our conversation yesterday, if you didn't hear, there's new pitches in baseball, just out of the blue, all of a sudden. So are there going to be new pitches in softball? Can we come up with something for Paige Vargas? Can we give her a different pitch to throw? That would, add to her arsenal. It's already pretty good. She's been absolutely dominant as just about any pitcher in Bison history so far through the season. But why not add to the arsenal a little bit? So maybe come up with a new pitch for the sport of softball.
Just come up with a name first, and then we'll decide what the pitch actually does. Because you got to come up with a cool name, so it sticks.
The name's really the only part that we care
about. Yeah.
I mean, it could just be a straight fastball, but we'll just call it something. Like, well, you didn't see the spin was just slightly different.
Well, that's the thing in baseball. I mean, we learned yesterday that all these new pitches, they're basically all the same pitch. It's just one's a half a degree different.
Right.
Like, okay, so this really doesn't matter. They're all basically the same thing. We're just going to call this one different because this pitcher didn't throw this pitch.
They all move. I mean, if you're a right-handed pitcher, they all move right to left. Just some move more horizontally and some move more vertically.
Yeah, that's kind of the big
like
difference.
Curveball is more straight up and down, but it's still going to move a little bit right to left, and then it just carries on from there.
There you go. We'll get to Darren Mueller's thoughts on all of this at 11:30 and the next steps in the evolution of the pitching game for NDSU athletics. As you know, they're on the forefront of everything out there. Maybe I have to ask Tyler Oakes, too. Maybe baseball, you got to be thinking ahead. What's the next step, the next new pitch in baseball? And can we ever bring back knuckleballers? We talked about that, too. The knuckleball.
Maybe start with knuckle curve.
The knuckle curve?
I think that one's an easier one to throw than knuckleball.
That one makes no sense to me at all.
Knuckle curve?
Well, because, I mean, the essence of a knuckleball is it has no spin. And a curveball obviously has a ton.
Tons of spin.
So
yes.
I've never understood. I think it's more again, it refers to the motion, the drop of it.
Also, a knuckle curve should just be called a nerve. A nerve pitch. KN, though. KNERVE. You got to have the nerve pitch.
No.
Because batters are really nervous when you're throwing the nerve at them. There you go. Come up with a new pitch for the sport of baseball. That's what we're doing. Apparently, we got to come up with new stuff every once in a while to keep the fans interested. So Darren Mueller at 11:30. Also afternoon today, we'll talk with Eli Mostaert. Got a chance to catch up with him after practice today up there at the indoor practice facility. Talk with Eli Mostaert. All of a sudden, a veteran. All of a sudden, the guy in the room. All of a sudden, the leader of everybody. And it's now made that change for him. I think last year was a year of, okay, we expect him to be a big contributor, and he is supposed to be one of the dudes in the middle of the defensive line, but he wasn't necessarily one of the oldest guys going into the season. And we all know how the season went, of course, with the injuries. Unfortunately for him, I got a chance to catch up with him and talk about the injuries, where he's at health-wise right now as compared to where he played in the national championship game against SDSU, and about the transition of, yeah, I'm the old guy in the room now. I'm the veteran. I'm the leader. How you go about that? How do you handle being a leader for a unit here at NDSU as well? Kyle, that's something you went through. Eventually everybody does. Most people think it's never going to happen, and then all of a sudden you go into one spring season and you're like, oh, okay. Here's all the young bucks, and yeah, I'm the old guy now. That's weird.
Yeah, and I think now it can almost come upon you quicker. Well, or I should say slower, just with not knowing what grade anyone is in with COVID, and it's like, or with the transfer portal. You could be thinking, like, I'm going to be, there's still like 3 or 4 guys older than me. All of a sudden, a couple transfer, a couple decide not to come back for their COVID year, and boom, all of a sudden, you're the oldest guy in the room. I had a little bit of a natural transition, because my junior year, this was as a junior, I've already been in the program for 4 years. There was just Cole Jurek ahead of me, and it was me and Mike. So I had a little bit of a transition, but yeah, it's always one of those things, like all of a sudden, hey, I'm a leader now. There's obviously some value in having some really good followers, but eventually, especially in college football, when you get older, it's just kind of that natural progression. You are naturally looked at as a leader. Even if you don't play a ton, even if you're not maybe a key contributor, like you are looked at as a leader. I've talked about this before. It's different in the NFL. At times, a first-round draft pick is kind of looked at a leader, or whoever makes the most money. In college sports, it's almost always, who's the oldest guy in the room. Yeah. It's just kind of how it works.
And like you said, with the way the transfer portal works, you're not that far away from all of a sudden becoming a leader, even as a younger guy. It's a position group we've talked about a ton, but I think of the safety room And not only do you have the graduation of Michael Tutsi and Dawson Weber, which was expected, and you knew that was coming, and that's the natural progression of things. But then when you have a Dom Jones transfer, when you have other things happen throughout the year, all of a sudden a guy, I'll throw out a name, like Sam Young, who doesn't have a start in his career, has played, has had some of that mop-up duty and some of the blowouts, played a lot of special teams. He's been on the field quite a bit, and he's been around the program. He knows how NDSU does it, quote-unquote. But all of a sudden, he's a leader. And for him, I'm sure it's like, whoa, what? Like, I was supposed to maybe be the starter this year, maybe get some reps, and all of a sudden it's like, no, not only are you be presumed to be a starter and be getting a lot of reps, but now you're the guy everyone's relying on. So go for it. Take it. That's kind of strange a little bit.
It is. I think you bring up Sam Young. I think we're going to see some good things from him this year. And we had, I believe it was Michael Tutsi, I believe, on after Pro Day, and he brought his name up. And I think part of it is going to be because of that. Because he's thrust into this leadership position, it kind of changes your mindset in a good way. People are looking at me to lead. I'm no longer just kind of, in the mix playing special teams. No, now I'm kind of the guy. You kind of, I think it can kind of give yourself a little self-confidence if you needed it. If you needed a little boost of self-confidence, well, there you go. You're now the old guy in the room. You're now the leader. And I think it can kind of have a shift without you even realizing it. Hey, I'm that guy now. And you need to look at yourself that way because football is a sport of confidence, as is almost every sport. But you got to have confidence in yourself, and I think that's one thing that becoming a leader, becoming the old guy in the room, can do for you.
Well, like I said, the old adage would be it's time to put up or shut up. Like this is your time. This is and everyone wants a chance. There's young guys out there who in their position group they're buried behind Eli Mostaert, who we're going to talk to, and they're buried behind all these veterans, and they're probably thinking like, man, I get a chance to go out there and do something. Well, especially the safety room and in the cornerback room, like, here's your chance. You're never going to have a better opportunity than this. There's literally going to be a whole new crop of starters. All the starters from last year are gone. And so there's a chance for everybody out there. And you think of guys like Sam Young. And we've talked a lot about Reggie King. This is a chance for Reggie King. And this is a chance for all those guys. But Darius Givens is another guy that's been getting some snaps out there. And it's starting to show what he can do a little bit. Another younger guy in that safety room. So there's a lot of things and a lot of guys that can take advantage of this right now. And Sam Young is definitely one of those, well, pardon the pun, but younger guys who no longer is a younger guy out there, and looking forward to seeing what he can do. We will, by the way, be broadcasting the final game or final practice of the spring season coming up, not this Saturday, but next Saturday. Our spring game coverage brought to you by Nodak Insurance Company, the agents with answers online at nodakins.com. And we'll be there and giving you all the insights from that final practice, the end of the spring season, a little preview into what the fall could look like, and kind of get a little bit of a glimpse, a little bit of insight into what the next version of NDSU football is going to look like, especially defensively, where you do have some turnover there, and you're going to have some different guys, I think, in the running back room now step up as well with the departure of a few guys in that position group, guys you've heard of before, but more snaps for Barika Panu, and TK Marshall's going to be relied upon a whole lot more. Obviously, no more Hunter Lipke back there, so some fullbacks who you've heard of before in the Brozios and Wermeyers and Hofsteds, they're going to be relied upon even more as well. So first chance to get a look at the new-look Bison a little bit there next Saturday for a spring game. Our coverage, again, brought to you by Nodak Insurance Company. And for more information on that, we'll try and get that to you when we can. The problem that we're all running into, and not just football, but every sport right now, is the amount of snow that's still out there. I know the weather's getting nicer. Mike is our meteorologist here. The weather's getting nicer. It's been 50s or whatever, and going to be getting even warmer. I got family down in the Twin Cities. They're preparing for 90 this weekend. A 9-0.
What?
Possibly hitting 90.
No, that's too much, man.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That's too much quick for me.
How quickly it changes. Now, we're not going to get that here. But it has been a lot nicer, but still a ton of snow out there. I know they'd like to maybe use that outdoor practice facility, or outdoor field, I should say, at the new indoor facility. But they're still working through all that stuff. So we'll try and get you some information when we can on that. But we are planning to cover the final game again. Not final game, but final practice of the spring season. Not this Saturday, but the next Saturday for you. And we'll see if there's any other former Bison that make a stop by as well. I know that's been a thing in years past. Hopefully a few more will be coming by as well for the final chance for the Bison to be out there during this spring season. That's the lay of the land. Want you on the show today as well. Bison Nation, 701-476-1660. The number to call and or text us at They're in our Epic Companies hotline. You can also email the program, studio@bison1660.com. The Rick Electric email inbox open for you today as well. Speaking of our listeners, wanted to send a special shout-out after he picked up his prize just yesterday to our winner of the Bison 1660 Bracket Challenge. It seems like forever ago that the NCAA tournament ended, but Nate Walsh, our winner, finally able to come into Fargo. He's a little out of town from up north. Came into Fargo, picked up the prize. Great stuff from Jim Beam and On the Rocks Premium Cocktails. Picked all that stuff up. So, again, thank you to Nate. Congratulations to him. He said he never won anything before. He's always been awful at brackets, but this year happened to pick the right ones and got the victory there. He picked UConn to win it. So he was our winner and got the major prize there from Jim Beam and On the Rocks Crafted Cocktails. Congratulations to him. Thanks to him, and thanks to, again, all of our listeners who played along with us on the Bracket Challenge, and, of course, our sponsors in Jim Beam and On the Rocks. We have had a little bit of issues with some of the with ESPN getting the info for some of our winners. Some of them are out of town as well, out-of-towners who just play like 1,000 bracket challenges, we've realized. So if we haven't gotten to you and you feel like you're one of the top 10, feel free to text us as well, trying to get some of the contact info to track down all of the winners out there. ESPN has not necessarily made it the easiest on that bracket thing. Probably do it a little bit of a different way next year. But if you think you're in the top 10 and you're like, I haven't been reached or contacted or reached out to, feel free to reach out to us as well. That's one way we can make sure if you did get in the top 10, we'll make sure to get you, of course, your prize for being in the top 10 this year. And, of course, also had our Masters Golf giveaway. And yesterday, our winner of that also was able to stop into town and pick up his prize. Congratulations to Brock Nelson on the big win. He had 4 golfers in his top 8 correct. So well done to Brock. There you go. Did not have the winner. He did not have John Rahm as the winner. I think he actually had, strangely enough, had Rory McIlroy, I believe, as the winner. Raised my hand on that one too, I guess. But did have the most right in the top 8. So he was our winner of the Masters Golf giveaway. And we'll again be doing that for all of the majors here this season. Starting next week, though, going to be giving away some more 1-hour simulator passes to Golf Addiction. There'll be a keyword to text. We'll start giving those away next week. We got 40-something of these 1-hour passes to give away from Golf Addiction. Very generous to give us all of these as well for the listeners. And we'll have a keyword for you to text starting next week. And you can text that in. We'll give away a couple every single day. And if you win one of those 1-hour simulator passes, we'll also put you into the drawing for the brand new golf bag at the end of the summer, along with our 4 major winners. So everybody gets a chance then to maybe win that fresh new golf bag at the end of the summer and continue to add to your collection. Maybe you need a new golf bag. Maybe that's something. I've gotten some new clubs. Kyle's been all over me because apparently they're not good enough for him. Maybe you need a new golf bag out there. And you can get a chance to win one with our great golf giveaway from Golf Addiction.
There's nothing to do with they're not good enough. It's that you're buying them sight unseen. You have no idea what, like, do you even like the feel of this club? You don't know how long they are, like what kind of shaft is in it. Like,
I know what kind of shaft it is.
But do you know what kind of shaft is the right one for you and your swing?
I believe so. Regular.
You have like
That's
9.
What I'm using.
You have like 9 different. I don't like your gaps in your wedges either. So you go 64 to like 54.
No,
right?
58.
Okay, and then
50,
but then pitching wedge,
and then pitching wedge.
You have a 52.
Don't have the 50 yet. That's what I would like to get one of those.
You need.
I've been told that'd be too big of a gap.
Too big of a gap.
Yeah,
too big of a gap.
No, usually the rule is by 6 degrees or 4 degrees.
Mine are 4. I have 52,
usually
56, 60.
Yep. Usually by 4
I'm just going to end up using the one I hit the best anyways. So it's probably what's going to end up happening.
You're going to start blading and thinning that 64-degree lob wedge, and you're going to throw it. You're going to throw it away. Be like, it was
$5 club.
$5 club. So
true.
I'm going to laugh when I golf with you and I use that thing and put it like a foot from the hole on a chip. I'm going to stare right down at you. I'm going to go Angel Reese on the bit. Can't see me.
Please do.
There you go.
I won't even get upset about it. I just think it's funny when I walk in here and you show me it. Oh, Kyle, I got a new club. It's like a $40 club off of eBay. And I'm like, oh, well, I hope it works out for you.
Hey, step up. There we go.
At some point, you just got to invest in it, Andy.
This is a big investment.
This is big for you.
It's the player. It's the player. It's not the club.
That is true. That is true. I will agree with that. I mean, you can be a terrible golfer and go spend $800 on the best driver on the market, and you're probably still going to be terrible at driving the ball.
Yep. That's probably the way I would be anyway, so. This is the.
But if I'm just worried you're going to get like this really snappy shaft that's meant for like a an 80-year-old, and it's not going to be the right club for you.
I do have some guys who are big time golfers who are my buddies that have helped me pick out these clubs.
Okay.
So it hasn't just been me. I've had I've sent the text to people. What do you think about this one? And they send yes or no or that's definitely not one you want. Look at this
that's
thing.
good.
Or that was a left-handed club. Let's not buy that one. I'm like, good catch. There you go. So I've had some help on it, but if you need a new golf bag, you can win that with our golf giveaway. A keyword to text starting next week for you. So keep your eyes and ears open for that one again starting next week. Other news in the world of sports from yesterday, the Minnesota Twins beat your Chicago White Sox once again. Got the victory, took 2 out of 3, a 4-2 homestand against Chicago and Houston. That's a good way to start things off. Not as good as what the Tampa Bay Rays have been up to. Tampa Bay 12-0, the only undefeated team left in baseball. They have tied, I believe, their franchise record for any time in a season, most wins in a row any time of the season at 12. They are one shy of tying the Major League Baseball record for longest win streak to begin a season. It would tie the 1987 Brewers and the 1982 Atlanta Braves at 13 in terms of modern-day baseball, one shy of tying the record. It hasn't been done since the 1980s.
Are the Red Sox going to finish last in that division?
Orioles do look better. The Orioles do look better than they have been in years past. They're having more fun. They've got the homer hose that they use after home runs. Take a shot of Gatorade or something.
Not beer.
Nope.
Yeah, you told me that.
Gatorade.
Okay,
children. So the Orioles do look better. The Red Sox have already had some bad injuries. They do look like they could finish worst.
Blue Jays are good.
Yankees are of course good. Clearly the Rays are good. They're 12-0.
Rays are undefeated. Yeah, I was just looking at that. I was like, I've kind of been paying attention to the AL Central. Like I haven't even looked at the East. And I'm like,
right.
Ooh. I mean, granted, they're 5-7. They're like one game back of fourth place. They could. It's early, but like you said, they have a couple injuries. Like,
it doesn't feel like the Red Sox have really spent a ton of money the last couple of years.
Yeah.
They haven't done what the Red Sox maybe necessarily did. They got some good players, but for the most part, it's not like the bevy of superstars we're accustomed to the Boston Red Sox having, especially when the Yankees are spending what they're spending, and the Rays are spending nothing and living in basically a dump of a stadium. But every year it seems like they are at least a good contender, and some years they even win the World Series. It's just how they do it. I don't know how they do it, but they do. Not spending any money, being one of the bottom usually 10, 12 teams in baseball in terms of spending and overall salary, but they find a way to be 12-0. So
Moneyball.
There you go.
That's what it is.
We were talking about Moneyball and best sports movies. That was a subject on the show, the Dan Patrick Show, before us today. And apparently yesterday on Colin Cowherd with The Herd here on Fox Sports Radio. You can hear that on Bison 1660. He said there weren't any good sports movies outside of 3. There's only 3 quality sports movies: Rocky, Moneyball, and Hoosiers. And all other sports movies are just very average and not even in the same conversation as those 3. It was the original Rocky.
That's a very Colin Cowherd kind of take. Mm-hmm. It's like, I mean, come on, everyone has their own opinion. And as we were talking, there's certain movies you just watch more than others. Like, I enjoy kind of lighthearted movies. That's why I love Space Jam. But I also like movies like The Miracle that are a little deeper and heavier. You can't just say there's 3 good sports movies and that's it.
Now, obviously, we've done movie madness on this. We've already finished this debate. It's been solved what the greatest sports movie is all the time. We solved that during
you
COVID.
have the data.
Yeah, it's
the
backed
numbers
up.
back you up.
Analytics, people.
Right.
That's how we do this here.
It's not about opinion. Well, it is about opinions because people's opinions, but
it's factual. So we have the numbers. If I'm just going to say this, we don't just go into a big deep dive because I think this is overdone. So, let's talk about sports movies thing on Sports Talk Radio.
It's been done.
It's been done a lot. I'll say this: if Miracle is not in your top 5 or your top, if it's not a 1 seed on a bracket, you're un-American. I mean, it's just what it is. I don't care if you like hockey or don't. If you watch that movie and you're like, that wasn't very good, you have something wrong with you. So it just is. It's amazing.
It was in my top 5, and I don't like hockey. I've never played it.
It is absolutely a phenomenal movie. Every which way you cut it, and even if you don't like hockey, you should watch that movie. If you haven't, and if you don't like it, then I'm sorry, just move to a different country because that's as good as it absolutely gets. So there's my hot take for the day. Call me out on it, but The Miracle it just doesn't get better than that.
Please, someone call Andy out on it. I don't feel that strongly about the movie. If you don't like it, you can still stay in this country. I'm fine with that. I do think it's a phenomenal movie.
Phenomenal.
If
you're not leaving that thing just pumped up after watching that, then you got something wrong. You got to check your heart.
You asked me a couple days ago if I was okay. Are you okay? You're getting a little
good.
I'm good. Harsh with some people right now.
But if you don't have that in there might need to be a Rickhoff's rant if people start disrespecting Miracle that much more. I mean, it's the greatest. And it won in Movie Madness, so it's backed up with the analytics and the facts. It won.
How was that voted?
Twitter and Facebook, and everybody voted on it.
Okay, so it was fan voting.
But it was done in the upper Midwest where hockey is very popular. So
no, it wasn't. I don't know where people voted from.
Guam.
Yeah. Our listeners are all Bison Nation
I know
has
they're
a wide
all.
reach.
I know they're all
Kyle?
over, Andy, but you got to assume most of them are somewhere in this region.
You can make that leap if you would like to. Assumption. If you want to assume, then go ahead and do it. But we don't know where they voted from, and there's no bribery that was done. Miracle was a 1 seed for a good reason, and they won against, remember, the Titans, which is also a great, phenomenal sports movie. If that's not in your top 5, you also have something wrong with you. Just remember the Titans. I mean, for crying out loud. Let's go.
I think
strong side, left side.
I think all these sports movies have something in common where it's based in a true story. That's something based in history. So I think 42 should be up there too. 42 was a really, really
very,
good
very
movie.
Good movie.
I like historical movies that are nonfiction movies where they have based in history. Love those.
You know what,
another great reason why Space Jam's great. Clearly after a real story.
Yeah, nonfiction. A sports movie that's fiction that we were talking about that I think is terrible. I've only seen it once, so I might be judging it too harshly, but I thought it was pretty bad. And I like Kevin Costner. Draft Day. How do you feel about Draft Day? Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it.
It's too far fetched for me.
Yeah, it'd be like it's like a fan page where some fan writes, "Oh, what if we trade this 20-year-old veteran whatever player for 3 first-round picks?" Like, it'd be great. It's never going to happen, but that happens in Draft Day, basically. So
it'd be like if we let Micah
trades
Bindi
are crazy.
Write up the script. It'd be like, Micah, come up with a couple trades that you think would be fun, and then we'll write a movie about it.
I'd be a good script writer. Like I said, I watch WWE, so I have a good sense of what's a good story and what's a good storyline.
That is not a good way to judge if you're a script writer.
I am
going to start scripts are not good.
I'm going to start a list.
Some of them are. You should see the Bloodline story. That's been going
Maybe
on for over 2 years
are better,
right now.
but the acting is just so bad that it makes me think the script's bad. Maybe that's what
I'm going to start a list of all the things that Micah Bindi is an expert at.
You just go to a script writer as 40 runner.
So,
kicker, 40-yard dash.
Script writer, 40-yard dash.
Don't put golf in there. You can put slow pitch softball.
Okay.
Kicker. Make sure you put kicker on the list. He's going to be hitting 45-yard field goals before you know it. So put that one on the list. And I'm sure there's a whole bunch more.
We'll come up with some more.
Yeah, that list is going to be a lengthy one for you. Just be prepared to keep writing that one. It might be maybe get a book out of it. Micah Bindi, The Great American, or something like that. We'll turn it into a movie, and that'll be greatest sports movies of all time. And that is the way we get out of that different segment right there and get onto something much more important, like taking a break and bringing on the head coach of NDSU softball, Darren Mueller, who will stop by Bison and the Jacks, NDSU and SDSU this week. Have the head coach of NDSU softball on when we come back next.
This is the Insiders on your home for NDSU sports. Bison 1660.
So most companies claim they have good people, good product, good customer service, but the question is how often. We go the extra mile to take care of our dealers and our growers, and more importantly, their families and their customers.
Proceed tries to bring a family-like experience. Farmers, we want to understand what their challenges are. We also want to bring products to them that help them overcome those challenges so that they can be as successful as possible.
Need seed, think Proceed. Proceed.net, great seed at a reasonable price.
Location, location, location. If you are a business owner looking for your next commercial space, Epic Companies has the best options for you. Whether you are looking for 1,000 square feet of commercial space or 50,000, Epic Companies has what you're looking for. We have properties in West Fargo, South Fargo, downtown Fargo, and Moorhead. Move-in incentives are currently available for a number of our properties and can be discussed with Zach, our Director of Realty. Visit epiccompaniesnd.com for more information. That's epiccompaniesnd.com.
This is your Bison 1660 Metro Minute. Saturday, April 22nd is the 65th annual Fargo Kiwanis Pancake Carnival in person at the Fargo Dome. Admission includes games for kids, free parking, and all-you-can-eat pancakes. FargoPancakes.com. The Fargo Pop Expo returns with guest of honor Eric Estrada, April 22nd and 23rd at the Butler Building, West Fargo Fairgrounds, with activities for all ages and interests. FargoPopExpo.com.
Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Corwin Auto has you covered. Corwin Auto has over 800 new vehicles available and more arriving daily. New vehicle inventory from the brands you love: Honda, Toyota, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. New cars, trucks, and SUVs, some with incentives as low as 0.9% financing and dealer rebates. You'll be able to get behind the wheel for less. Shop the largest selection of new vehicle inventory in the area now, only at Corwin Auto. Visit us online at corwinauto.com.
Acme Tools is your full-line Honda Premier Power Equipment dealer. Choose from a great selection of dependable, easy-starting Honda mowers, trimmers, and tillers. If it's portable power you're looking for, Honda is the market leader in generators ranging up to 10,000 watts of quiet, reliable power. And if you need to move water fast, Honda commercial pumps are what you're looking for. See the full line of Honda Power Equipment at Acme Tools in Fargo or online at acmetools.com. Do your best work.
If there's one thing I know about farmers, it's that they are resilient. This is Scott Zolandic with Cornerstone Bank. Farmers are known to rise to ever-changing challenges, whether it be higher land prices and rent costs, risk management, or diversification. Cornerstone Bank offers an experienced team that you can turn to. If you're looking to save, borrow, or spend, Cornerstone Bank will find the best financial options for business, ag operations, and your personal needs. Come see us at Cornerstone Bank.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Jeremy here at Horsch in Mapleton. Did you know that Horsch manufactures premier planting, seeding, and tillage solutions right here in the FM area? We are proud to be a family-owned business based out of Germany and would love for you to join our team right here in Mapleton. We offer competitive pay, full benefits, and paid family time from Christmas to New Year's. Please visit Horsch.com to view our current openings.
Every job ad is the same. Great pay, great benefits. It's the greatest job in the world. Yeah, right. At Royal Electric, they have that too. But if you want more out of your career, apply to become a journeyman electrician. Notice how none of those other job ads talk about freedom? As a journeyman with Royal Electric, you won't be micromanaged. You'll work 4 days a week and get a $3,500 sign-on bonus. Small team, big projects to keep you busy. Royal Electric, more than just competitive pay and great benefits. Apply now at royalelectricnd.com.
Bison 1660.
Clubs I'll never get in. It's like the bottom of the ninth, and I'm never gonna win this. Life hasn't turned out.
Bottom of the ninth. No 9 innings in softball, but kind of has to do with our conversation around Bison baseball and Bison softball. Welcome back in. Got the insiders here, full show, full crew. Andy, Kyle, Micah with you inside the Theraldson Ethanol Broadcast Center. Theraldson Ethanol produces 175 million gallons of ethanol per year and roughly 400 tons of livestock feed per year at their amazing facility just west of Castleton. You can join their growing team at Theraldson Ethanol by going online to theraldsonethanol.com. Let's go on over to our Epic Companies hotline right now and bring on the head coach of Bison softball. That'd be one Darren Mueller. Nice enough to join us on the phones as they get ready for a big-time series this weekend with SDSU down in Brookings. 23-13 overall, 7-2 in conference play. Have won every series so far in conference play and looking to do the same against the Jacks. Coach, great to have you back on with us, sir. How are things going for you?
Not too bad. Thanks for having me back on today.
What was it like earlier this week when you got back here, you had that series against USD, and then you have to head right back on the road? You guys have kind of been road warriors here without being able to play at home.
Yeah, this trip, I guess we knew we were going down to South Dakota. Last week was kind of up in the air at the time, but I think our team's ready to go. They're excited now that we can actually get on our field and do some practicing, so that kind of changes a little bit of the excitement, I guess, of this week, besides the fact we have a big series this weekend.
Coach, speaking of the field, we've been talking about it here on our show, talking about the transformation there at Theraldson Park and the awesome picture before and after that was put out there on Twitter. Obviously, the melting helps, the weather helps, but how many people did you have out there? What was that operation like getting that field ready?
Well, last week after the blizzard, facilities was out there and they started putting, I guess one of the pictures out there, you can just kind of see what they did at the Bobcat out there. And thankfully, Mother Nature took care of a lot of the stuff, and then we went and shoveled, I think on Monday, just to kind of get the dugouts cleared off, and then some of the bullpen area and some things. And then we have some people. I have to give Paul Wixo from our facilities and equipment. He brought the snowblower out there and took care of some stuff for us a couple of days ago too. And now, once we get that base taken off, just let the ice on there, just kind of melted right away. I mean, it's amazing how hot that turf gets right away once you're sitting out there. And yesterday we were out there and had a full practice and had basically hardly any snow anywhere.
How different is it compared to before you had the turf? Like, what would you be doing right now if you didn't have the turf, basically?
We would be practicing in the NODAC Indoor Performance Center until finals, probably. I mean, I don't think we'd be playing in Fargo if we had our old field. The turf has just been that big of a difference for us, and I can't see with that old field the way that thing would, just the lack of drainage and things that we had there. We just probably would not be playing in Fargo this year.
That's so crazy, and just it's not a small difference. It's obviously it's the field. It's what you play on. It's a pretty big change, but how one thing can really change that from not being able to play at all to not this week obviously because you're on the road, but after that getting some home games here in Fargo, which is obviously a huge advantage with the crowd and just getting to sleep in your own beds. How big of an advantage that is for your squad. But playing well right now, 7-2 in conference play. Obviously a big weekend here. What have you liked about the play, especially in conference so far from your squad?
Well, the one thing that's kind of the last couple of weeks that's kind of stood out is we've just, we've dropped the first game, and I think just how our team's fought back for the next two games. And, just they kind of show that really just resiliency of just not giving in. I didn't, like last Friday, for instance, that was probably our worst game we played all year. And I'll give USD credit, they played well as well. But we just did not have the same energy and fight that we'd had earlier in the year. And for us to bounce back and get two against them, which I think they were in first place at the time, I thought it was just really good for our team to do, just to kind of to have and to build off of that. So that's something, hopefully we can continue to have that going into the rest of the season, just that fight and that grit that we showed, and hopefully we can build off of that.
Coach, obviously getting ready to play against South Dakota State. I'm curious, obviously there's a rivalry between the two schools. How much does that come out in softball as well? I know it's a little bit different than football. You're not going head to head in a contact sport like that, but like the rivalry, I'm assuming, still has to come out. What's this series like whenever you play the Jackrabbits?
Yeah, it's similar, probably, the fact that you just don't have to talk much about it. You just know it's there. I mean, our team knows that they've won the last couple of years of the conference. They know that they're in first place right now. Besides the fact it's South Dakota State, I think it just takes care of itself. I mean, I don't have to say a lot right now. I mean, they just know what's in front of them, and I think for us, it's just a matter of just still preparing for their team and their hitters and their pitchers, and just trying to keep it probably more like we would any other week, even though, it's just a big series and it's tough to, it's trying to keep them calm, I guess, just like I think a lot of other teams kind of face as well, just knowing that we're going into a rivalry week.
You guys are 7-2 in conference. SDSU right now, I have put down at least at 6-0 on the league website there, and like you said, they've won the last couple of titles. Where have you seen the biggest strides from teams like SDSU? I think of Omaha as well, USD. During this run, when you guys are really, really dominant, it seems like other teams have been able to build their programs and invest in their programs a little bit. Where have you seen those strides from a team like SDSU that's allowed them to get on top the last couple of years?
I think it always comes down to pitching. They have a very strong pitching staff. One of their pitchers, I think she was National Pitcher of the Year on one of the, whatever organizations that kind of come up with those things. And she's just been very strong for them the last few years. And that's something that, Omaha as well, South Dakota last week, their pitching improved over the years. And I think it just kind of comes down to, that's one of the biggest things. And like you mentioned, there's a little bit more resources and stuff now. I think we have some newer teams in our conference compared to a couple of years ago as well, where it's become stronger all the way, across the board. You had St. Thomas beat Wisconsin yesterday. We've had, I think, Iowa State lost to South Dakota State here on Tuesday. So you see a lot of those teams in our conference now with the pitching and, the resources we have, and obviously the COVID years and things like that all kind of come into play. And I think it's really made our conference a lot stronger, maybe compared to 5-10 years ago.
Again, head coach of NDSU softball, Darren Mueller, here with us on the Epic Companies hotline. A player we talked with you about before the season got going that's been a nice addition for you guys this year. Angelier Aguilar-Bocage been really good for you, especially at that infield role. How has she kind of fit in, with the lineup and the production she's been giving you in the lineup, and also defensively? How have you seen her kind of fit in this year?
I mean, Angie's been great. She's done just all across the board. Just a great addition. I mean, it's a teammate, a leader on the field. Just somebody that I think is just, each day and each week, as being part of her program, you can tell that she's somebody that, you can't tell that she's only been this for, half a year to a year right now. I mean, everything she does is exactly what we want as a coaching staff. And I think for her, number 3 hitter has a lot of production, getting on base, doing a lot of things that, hits for power, hits for average, has speed, just does all those things that you're looking for as a number 3 hitter. And defensively, she was doing a really good job this year. And she's actually out for defensively for us for the rest of the year. So she's going to be a designated player for us because of just some injuries there. So for us on the defensive side, obviously it's a loss to lose somebody that's been playing out there all year, but Bella Dean stepped in the last couple of weekends and played short and done a nice job. So and just continued to kind of help Bella along with that role, and that's, I think, another role that she's really stepped in and done a good job with.
So how does that change things for you from just a lineup perspective and everything when you have somebody else as the designated player, and now Andrew's going to be doing that for you? You mentioned always defensively someone's got to step into that role too. How does that change things from just a strategy standpoint for you with the flexibility of everything?
Lineup-wise, we've been able to keep things the same. So in the batting order, things have been pretty good. But defensively, it's just, I think, like a lot of different things. The communication between shortstop and third base, and the communication between shortstop and second, and obviously your shortstop communicates with everybody out there. So that's something that I think it's gone pretty well so far. I've seen the last couple of, I guess it's been 5 games, now that's been going on. But I think that's where even Ange coming in, just helping a younger player and helping Bella out in those situations is really crucial for us because she has that experience out there at this level. And, it does throw things off a little bit. It's probably no different than if you throw somebody out there for, let's say, an offensive line that's just a little bit, doesn't play as much early on. You kind of get to get comfortable with that person again. So, we're getting used to it in the practices. It's been nice to be in Fargo and get some practices in. So, Bella gets some more reps with her infielder. So it's something that, I think we've continued to kind of grow on and just build off of, and you just know she's done a good job, and we have a lot of confidence in her.
And Angeli, by the way, 4 home runs, 23 RBIs, 3rd in home runs, 2nd on the team in runs batted in as well, so definitely been a welcome addition. Back in the circle, though, and we've talked with you plenty about Paige Vargas. She's been phenomenal, putting up numbers that are right there with the best pitchers you've had in this program. Just been phenomenal what she's been able to do. What have you ever seen the growth, though, in Lainey Lyle? You always need that number 2. You need a second pitcher you can rely on and someone that you can get some innings to and take them off of your top pitcher, basically. Lainey's been really good and I think pretty consistent for you overall this year. Where have you seen the growth for her?
Yeah, the biggest thing I think for Lainey is she's healthy. It's the first time in her career that she's actually been healthy, so it's nice, and you can see that things are kind of paying off for her especially the last 3 weeks. I mean, she's just did a really phenomenal job out there. I don't even know if she's given up a run even in the last 3 weeks or so. But we made a couple adjustments after spring break, just in her pitching motion, because I think some things are just kind of falling off a little bit. She just made those corrections right away, and now you can get her on the mound. You can just see the confidence each week when she's pitching, and we have a lot of confidence in her. I mean, coached her for 4 years and see what she's done in crucial situations. And, again, like I said, it's the health part. So that's something that it's nice to know that, her and I talked the other day, it's nice to know that now that she can actually pitch back-to-back days, where that's something that she actually has never been able to do much in her career, even though there's times we've thrown her out there. She just is now able to do those things. And I think just that confidence and that health plays a big part in it.
Yeah, no earned runs in her last 23 innings pitched. I got to go back to the Purdue game where she had an earned run, her last earned run at least. So that's pretty impressive what she's been able to do for you as well. You mentioned her being healthy for the first time. I think there was a conversation with Paige, too, being healthy for at least the first time in a long time as well. What are some of the typical injuries you guys get because Paige had been pitching a lot for you. Lainey had pitched a decent amount as well. Obviously they're playing through some injury. What are those injuries like, and what does it take away from a pitcher?
Oh, well, it can range on a lot of different things. Lainey had she's had back issues, she's had arm issues. We've had, even from your fingers, that's something we ran into in the past with Paige and stuff. It just all it takes is something, let's say you got, it's obviously a broken finger, but a lot of different things kind of come into play. It can be your quad, can be anything. And so, we've kind of done things the last few years just to hopefully kind of take some of the stress off their body when it comes to practices and pitching, and kind of done more of a pitch count when it comes to every aspect of it. From the day they walk on campus, there's a pitch count kind of going on. So tried to reduce their role a little bit to keep them healthier. And I think it's paid off in the long run here, just in the comments that they've kind of made a little bit when they've had to come back from something that maybe that's nagging them a little bit. But yeah, we run into all types of things. I mean, right now we're probably just like everybody else. I mean, we're pretty patched together, and it's something that, this time of year kind of happens. So I think you just run into those things, and our teams give them a ton of credit because they're very tough. Those things that they have to go through each day to kind of get to practice or even get on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, head coach Darren Mueller with us from NDSU softball. They've got games this weekend down in Brookings against SDSU, the top two teams in the Summit League facing off. A little bit less serious here, Coach. We've been talking about baseball, new pitches. Apparently, the Twins have a pitcher, Pablo Lopez, who's throwing a sweeper now. Never had heard of that pitch before. There's other pitches that I'd never heard of, but they're all basically the same thing. What would be the next pitch in softball? Can we add something to the repertoire of Paige Vargas and Lainey Lyle out there? Can we do something different or call it something different?
Well, I guess I haven't heard of the sweeper. I mean, we got every once in a while, what's the pitch they'll throw? It kind of turns into a scries, I guess they'll call it. It's kind of a screwball or a rise, and so it kind of comes up into your chin if you're a right-handed batter. They don't know how that happens, but they've called it that once in a while. Just but any other new type of pitch, boy, besides throwing behind your back, I can't think of much else right now.
I like the scribe, though. It needs to have a cool name like that, where you combine two. Basically, it's a cutter and a slider. They're calling it like the sweeper or something like that. And then you've got the scribe, like a screwball, rise ball. Yeah. It works out perfectly. There you go. It's kind of more difficult sometimes in softball, too, because the mechanics of, obviously, softball and baseball are very different with where the ball is actually released from. And I think a big part of it, too, is with the break. You don't have as much time for the break on a softball because of the distance between the circle and home plate there. Just can you explain to some of our listeners that maybe aren't as read up as other hardcore softball fans, just those differences and how it affects the ball movement and the pitching mechanics?
Well, I think probably the biggest difference is in softball. You can get the rise ball, which is going to go up, where we have people will throw a curveball or a screwball or drop ball, change up, things that are kind of familiar names with baseball because they're all sinking pitches. They're going to go down. You might have a curve or, like I mentioned, like that could go up a little bit there, even a screwball. But you have a rise ball which can actually go up, and all of a sudden you're throwing something that the velocities, or excuse me, the movement's going up a little bit. So it kind of changes that eye level a little, and that's what you see a lot of times if you ever see like a college pitcher or maybe a professional pitcher throw against a professional baseball player. Usually you're going to see them throw some rise balls, and it's something that they're not going to see a whole lot in baseball to that extent. So usually that's one of the things that just in the pitching aspect that you kind of, obviously throwing underhand compared to overhand that you're able to do. But everything else, when it comes to the pitching part of it, does move. It can move side to side and it can move down, and it's just getting that timing down. And we're a little bit closer, obviously at 43 feet compared to baseball, but the movement, the break, there's a lot of different things now with technology that you try to get for certain inches of break that you're trying to get in your pitches and what's going to make it move more that we try to work with. So a lot of similarities, but the differences is probably just the rise ball and then obviously just the break of pitches, I guess, are trying to get to a certain extent on the downward side.
Well, head coach of NDSU softball, Darren Mueller, here with us on the Epic Companies Hotline. Again, they've got 3 games this weekend down in Brookings against SDSU. 2 of them on Saturday. First one there at 12 o'clock, and then also one Sunday at 11 a.m. It looks like good weather down there for you guys as well, so should be just fine on the weather side of things. And be getting you back home here soon as well. Looking forward to seeing you guys at Theraldson Park in the next couple of weeks. But, Coach, appreciate the time. Best of luck this weekend.
Yeah, thanks for having me on today. Appreciate it.
There you go. Darren Mueller, head coach of NDSU softball. Nice enough to give us some time. They already got a new pitch. Look at that, the scribe. It's a thing.
Scries.
I guess
Screwball and rise.
Yeah. Scries.
Right off the top of his head, too. Didn't even know we were going to ask him that, and he just had one ready.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
See, he's forward-thinking.
I forgot about the
front
screwball.
edge.
Is this screwball kind of like a
one.
two-seam fastball? Kind of moves
Oh,
in?
I have no idea. I never pitched.
Micah?
That was terrible pitching.
I should know this. I don't think my sister threw a screwball. I think her pitches were rise, drop ball, fastball. I don't think she threw a screwball in.
See, for me, I pitched once in my my little league career. Because I think you're at that age, right, where everyone has to pitch. Everyone gets a chance to do everything, right? I was always very afraid of hitting people or like being too close. I don't know. It's just a mental thing for me pitching. I came in, I walked 4 straight batters on, I believe, 18 pitches, and I was taken out immediately.
And never pitched again.
I never pitched again that season. And that was the end of my pitching career. I couldn't find the strike zone. I was always outside because I just couldn't get over the plate. So I was actually catcher and outfield typically. Those are my positions.
I was a pitcher.
Yeah.
All the way up until a couple of weeks before I came to NDSU, actually. I was playing
Yeah.
baseball in the summer. I was, believe it or not, you could probably guess. A lot of 4-seam, 2-seam fastball guy. That was me. I had a changeup, didn't really throw it, didn't trust it, and had a curveball. Didn't really trust that either. I just try to gas it by people.
Yeah. You want Darren
that
just
was my
throwing out
go-to.
there.
Yeah.
Ever strike out anybody good? I mean, Nebraska had some pretty good baseball prospects. Anybody you ran into in the high school scene out there? You got to hit off somebody or you struck somebody out?
We ran into a couple guys that, like, I remember playing against one that ended up playing at Nebraska. I couldn't tell you if I struck him out.
But no, like, Major League Baseball player who, like, went on to do big things. You're like, yeah, I struck that guy out.
No. At least not that I remember.
Fame.
Not that I remember.
Fair enough. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We got a phone call as well on the phone line. So take a break. We'll come back, get to that, and wrap up hour number 1 on the other side next.
A sports talk station that Bison Nation deserves. Bison 1660.
Theraldson Ethanol is a leading ethanol facility located in Castleton, North Dakota, producing over 170 million gallons of ethanol per year. They're currently seeking a maintenance technician to join their team. This individual will be responsible for performing repairs and maintenance on plant equipment to ensure maximum production. Applicants must have at least 2 years of relevant experience. To apply for this exciting opportunity, please visit theraldsonethanol.com and click on the Careers tab. Theraldson Ethanol, fueling freedom on the farm.
The 2023 season will be here before you know it for NDSU football as they look to get back on top of the FCS once again. We get our first glimpse of the 2023 Bison with the Green and Gold Spring Game, April 22nd, inside the Nodec Insurance Football Performance Complex. We'll be broadcasting live for the final day of the spring season with thoughts from coaches and players. All of our coverage of the spring game is brought to you by Nodec Insurance Company. The 2023 NDSU Green and Gold Spring Game, right here on your home for NDSU Athletics, Bison 1660.
Ram Truck Month is going on now at Corwin Ram, and the deals are hot. Drive off in a new 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn 4x4 with financing as low as 1.9% and up to $6,500 off in rebates. That's right, financing as low as 1.9% and up to $6,500 off a new Ram 1500 Bighorn. This workhorse of a truck has the power and towing capacity to get any job done. Shop Corwin Ram's big selection of in-stock inventory now and save. Online, corwinauto.com.
Tired of striking out on the search of your dream home? Step up to the plate with Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty. Todd's expertise in the Fargo-Moorhead real estate market ensures every client has their bases covered. If you're taking a swing, why not swing for the fences? Todd Cattermas is a proud partner and the preferred realtor of NDSU Athletics. Call Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty today at 701-371-4234 or visit him at 4832 Amber Valley Parkway in Fargo. Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty.
Moving the herd, one home at a time.
The clock's changed, which means the change of seasons is next. Are you ready for the spring melt? Is your sump pump? Do not wait to check this off your list. Let the professionals at Valley Service Mechanical help. If you're not sure your sump pump can handle this year's thaw, make an appointment today so you can enjoy upcoming warm weather without worry. It's easy with Valley Service Mechanical. When your heating and cooling needs help and your plumbing is on the fritz, call Valley Service Mechanical, 701-293-5701. Online at valleyservice.net.
Snow, ice, and below zero temps. Typical Midwest weather, but not so kind to your vehicle. That's why Jiffy Lube of Fargo is here to make sure you have your vehicle in top working condition and ready for these winter roads and temps. Oil changes are the #1 maintenance item that's neglected. At Jiffy Lube of Fargo, no appointment needed at any of the 3 locally owned locations. Jiffy Lube of Fargo, where you can do more in a jiffy. Jiffy Lube of Fargo, proudly serving the metro area for 5 decades.
Exciting news! Center for Special Surgery is opening a brand new facility in June, and we're looking for talented surgical techs to join our team. Our state-of-the-art facility is focused on patient safety and comfort while providing exceptional surgical care. With our new facility, you'll have access to the latest technology and equipment to help you excel in your career. At Center for Special Surgery, you work no nights, weekends, or call shifts. If you're ready to be a part of a team that's at the forefront of surgical care, apply at specialsurge.com.
Bison 1660.
I like this one. This is good.
Do you know it?
No clue.
Band. It's a band, not a person, just a band or the song title.
Now it kind of sounds familiar. I've definitely heard it. Absolutely, I've heard it.
Maroon 5.
Nope.
That sounded a little Maroon 5-ish. That was a good call. I would have thought you were right on that one.
I know it too. I've heard
Jackson 5.
You just saw it on my computer, Kyle.
I was trying to come up with my own song.
Jonas Brothers.
Oh.
Only Human.
The Joe Bros.
Right, I literally did just see that. Yeah, I thought I typed that in.
By the way, they are. I think they were playing at Yankee Stadium last week. They're like throwing out the first pitch or something. Don't think it went well.
Pretty bad.
Heard on social media.
Do you think a majority of first pitches go well for celebrities? Do you think like over 50% throw a good one?
I think they do.
Or we just see the bad ones.
That's true. We probably just see the bad ones.
It's like
Travis Kelce threw one out at the Cleveland Guardians game like a week and a half ago. He's from that area. It was 10 feet short. I mean, like
Really?
it was spiked.
They
into the ground.
spiked it into the dirt.
I've actually never thrown out a first pitch, and I really want to. I'm gonna throw it as hard as I can.
Red
Anybody
Hawks?
from the Red Hawks listening?
Red Hawks want Kyle Emanuel?
Ceremonial
I don't
first
care.
pitch.
I don't
Kyle
care what it
Emanuel.
is. Little league game.
And now you have to do it from the mound.
I was gonna say that when NDSU softball comes home, I would do it, but I can't. I definitely can't do it underhand. That's not happening.
You just got to make the K shape. That's the drill. Make the K, start there, and then just swing.
So you are a softball pitcher. Was that on my list yet? Or
I'm not an aficionado. I just had two sisters that played fast pitch softball.
And you might could have thrown a first pitch
I have.
as well.
So I know something.
I have slow pitch softball on your list. Should I add fast pitch too?
No, I couldn't hit I was scared to like fake stand in for my pitcher or my sister as a pitcher. Just like I wasn't gonna swing, just like standing in there. So then she had a batter next to her. I hated looking at
One
that.
of the scariest things in sports is standing in a batter's box. Got another perfect example of why that is yesterday with Kyle Former for the Twins taking one literally to the mouth.
You and I
from
watched
Lucas
that together,
Giolito. We
right?
saw it
Yeah,
live
it
here, and I was like, "Oh
brutal.
my!" And then you watch the replay, and it just got worse every time. Somehow, it didn't fracture his jaw. Somehow, but he had to have a dental procedure to realign his teeth.
So they didn't fall out?
Maybe some of them did, but like the jaw was also just out of place. Basically.
It did not look good.
His jaw was out of place, and
If you didn't see it
and reset.
It's one of those things I wouldn't recommend. Go and look at.
Yeah, huge laceration inside of his mouth as well.
Ugh.
Yeah, so that had to be fixed and repaired, but somehow it didn't apparently fracture anything, and he's not going to have his jaw like wired shut.
That's good.
But yeah, scary scene. Lucas Giolito did feel bad about it. We got a little clip from him. We'll play that later. But that one of the scarier things in sports is standing in the batter's box, in my opinion, because I mean the pitchers have a pretty good idea where it's going, but if one of those things gets loose, there's nothing.
Did you play baseball all the way?
Only like into freshman year of high school.
Okay. I would disagree. I didn't think it was that scary.
Ooh.
Now I probably would because I haven't played baseball since I was 18 years old. But like growing up playing it, I don't know, just didn't think about it.
Yeah, and you never do. You can't think about it. That's what you have to do. But just the thought, like if you're just saying it conceptually, there's the guy throwing 100 miles per hour and it's coming probably inside. Good luck hitting it.
Although, like if you're thinking of like a casual fan, this could be a fun discussion. Like, what's the scariest thing in sports for someone who doesn't actually play the sport? Like, what if you were the front line on a kickoff return team in the NFL? And you're just a casual fan, and you got a 6'2", 240-pound linebacker who runs a 4.5 running straight at you.
Would you rather try and tackle our running back or stand in the batter's box for Juwan Duran throwing 103?
Not just any running back, Derrick Henry.
I would rather tackle Derrick Henry.
Yeah, you, like Joe Schmo on his couch today. Actually, save your answer. Let's ask John in West Fargo. He's calling us on the Epic Companies hotline right now. He wants to talk about something else. But, John, would you rather try and tackle an NFL running back or stand in a batter's box for a pitcher who throws over 100?
Well, probably tackle an NFL running back, quite honestly. Although,
good choice.
When I played high school football, I got my bell rung one time on a kickoff that I'll never forget. So, but, you know, I played Legion baseball in high school. I was never convinced that a high school pitcher knew how to land a curveball. So every time that thing was coming at me, I backed out. And, of course, strike. And so I would never trusted that, which leads me into my quest. I got 3 questions for you guys.
Okay, we'll write it down.
Yep. That was a 92-mile-per-hour fastball coming right at him. That wasn't 102. So what is the psychology of that? How come he couldn't back out in time? So I'd like to hear you guys bat that around. Number 2, why was Byron Buxton, it appeared to me, was out of his running lane and got flipped upside down. What was he doing where he was at? And number 3, what do you guys think about a hockey-style helmet for guys in the batter's box? Some type of helmet like that to prevent this type of thing, and I'll hang up and listen to you guys.
Okay, thank you, John. Appreciate the questions right there. I think the first one there from him, it was 92 miles per hour. Hard to get out of the way. I know 92, we've like been brainwashed. It's like, oh, that's not that fast. And they're throwing 100 and 102 now. 92 is still really difficult. When you're not expecting it there, you're thinking, like you said with the curveball, I think this thing's going to break, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh, that's not a curveball, that's a fastball, and it was thrown in the wrong spot. You have less than a tenth of a second to get out of the way.
Yeah, and we've seen it happen, unfortunately, too many times in the Major League Baseball, and these are the best hitters in the world. And if they can't react to it, I'm not going to question it.
Yeah.
Like, there's just I'm not exactly sure what it is on a clock. Obviously, way less than a second. And like you said, Andy, when you don't know initially, you're not going to know if it's a slider, if it's a curveball. A curveball might start at your face and might drop into the strike zone. So you just don't know. And then by the time you do, it's just that not even a split second.
Mm-hmm.
All you can hope for at that point is to turn your head and hope it hits the helmet. Like, that's your best chance. You're not getting out of the way.
Let's do this. We'll take a break. We'll answer those questions on the other side. I did want to do a brief thing on the hit-by-pitch, Kyle Farmer getting hit a little bit. We have a clip from Lucas Giolito, the pitcher, as well. Go through that and a few other things. On the other side, when we really kick off hour number 2, also my conversation with Eli Mostaert a little bit later on in hour number 2 of the program. And buy or sell in the second hour as well. Micah Bindi has come up with some interesting buy or sell questions. We'll take stock of the world of sports in hour number 2. Back with you on the other side here on The Insiders on Bison 1660.
Hanson Runsvold Funeral Home proudly supports the Bison and appreciates the commitment each student makes to its success. Whether in the arts or other campus activities, these students are our country's future and deserving of our support. Hanson Runsvold is dedicated to helping families look to the future with hope and remember what we do today shapes our memories for tomorrow. Add the Bison experience and live life to the fullest. Hanson Runsvold Funeral Home, an experienced and caring staff with a distinct attention to detail.
Buckle up, get ready, and buy at Corwin Toyota, because right now Corwin Toyota has the biggest new vehicle inventory in years. And Brand's here to tell us more because, he's the expert.
Yeah, thank you. At Corwin Toyota, we have so many experts when it comes to helping you find the perfect vehicle to fit your lifestyle and budget. We are truly here to help you. At Corwin Toyota, we have over 100 brand new Toyotas incoming, and they're selling fast. Don't miss out on the chance to secure yours with the features and colors that you want before the vehicle even hits the lot.
That's awesome. So how about financing? When you're talking about helping someone find a vehicle that fits their budget, how can you really help?
That's a great question. Right now, you can get financing as 3.9% and up to a $2,500 trade assist on select models. There has really never been a better time to buy at Corwin Toyota.
That sounds like the best time to buy. You got that right. Stop by today or shop all the incoming units right now at CorwinToyota.com.
Hey, business owners. You have your banker, you have your insurance guy, but do you have your door guy? Now you do. DavTech Window Services also specializes in commercial door and window repair and replacement. DavTech is proud to be known for their excellent commercial services as on the NDSU campus. Choose the door and window experts that will deliver top-rated products as well as the experienced technicians that do it right the first time. A decade of service with a century of experience. Online at DavTechWindowServices.com. That's DavTechWindowServices.com.
Spring season is also flooding season in the Red River Valley. For all the latest news and current river levels, go to our website, Bison1660.com. Our Flood Watch coverage is brought to you by Acme Tools, a Honda full-line premier dealership, fully stocked with Honda pumps and hoses.
Are you a great electrician working for a company with a bad reputation? You deserve better. You deserve Rick Electric. In business for nearly 60 years and voted best electrical contractor in the Red River Valley 2022. Rick Electric is hiring journeyman electricians, apprentices, and service tech electricians today. Year-long full-time employment, employer-paid full family health care, paid holidays, and 2 weeks paid vacation. You deserve to work for the best, and that's Rick Electric. To apply, send an email to info@rickelectric.com.
Look refreshed and renewed with Botox from the Wellness District. Hi, I'm Dr. Spencer Berry, Medical Director of Wellness District, inviting you to experience Botox the way it should be. Our expert injectors will help you achieve a natural yet flawless look. Whether it's your first time with Botox or it's part of your routine, experience the Wellness District difference and find out why we are one of the top Botox providers in the nation. New patients will receive your first treatment for $150. That's only $150 for up to 35 units. Book today at FargoWellnessDistrict.com.
Now is the time to get to Used a Bit Sales and Pawn. They have a huge selection of name brand items at low discount prices. Tools, guns, jewelry, electronics, gaming, and more, all priced to move. Payday loans, pawn loans, and auto loans too. Used a Bit Sales and Pawn with 2 Fargo locations.
Did you know diamond is April's birthstone? Well, Royal Jewelers wants to invite you to their Diamond Celebration event. 20% off all diamond jewelry, exclusive pricing on all bridal diamonds, unbelievable savings. Experience the Royal difference. See why Royal has been the area's favorite, most knowledgeable jeweler since 1927. Take advantage of the specials before they end April 30th. No interest financing available. Some exclusions apply. Royal Jewelers, downtown Fargo, your engagement destination.
It's the Cash for Cars event at Gateway Chevrolet. All makes, all models. Sell your ride today. Whether it has 50,000 miles or 150,000 miles, Gateway Chevrolet will buy it. Cars, trucks, and SUVs get cash today. Gateway Chevrolet needs good, clean, used cars, trucks, and SUVs. Sell your ride today, whether it has 50,000 miles or 150,000 miles. Gateway will buy it. The Cash for Cars buying event today at Gateway Chevrolet in Fargo.
KQWB West Fargo, KPFX HD3 Kindred, and K224FD Fargo. Bison 1660, powered by Gateway Chevrolet, Cadillac, Nissan, and Hyundai in Fargo. This is The Insiders, taking you inside the lines and behind the scenes of NDSU and around the region.
I hang heavy on your thoughts because you are the Bison gods.
That should be a penalty.
The Insiders.
Do you have any other questions?
You know it.
The Insiders are presented by Proseed. Need seed? Think Proseed.
Okay, so what are you saying?
These guys do an unbelievable job, and tune into the Insiders.
I did have one. I do not apologize for taking it out of the 6-pack.
First thing you should know about us is that we have people everywhere.
The Insiders. The Insiders. The Insiders.
The prices were that shocking. I wasn't listening. I'm an old soul.
Now, here are the Insiders.
Well, we're waiting.
12:07 on the program with you. Welcome back into the Insiders. It is not Friday, even though I said it felt like it was a Friday. Maybe somebody else feels the same way out there, but not a Friday. It's a Thursday with you. One more day for the week. Excited for tomorrow. Get head coach Matt Ensign. Like Tyler Oakes will be able to join us as well for the first time in a couple of weeks as they got a big weekend series down in St. Paul versus the Tommies of St. Thomas. So looking forward to both of them tomorrow as well. And a little bit later on in this hour, talk with Bison defensive tackle Eli Mostaert, the old guy in the room. Just like that. It flips pretty quickly in the world of college football, and it has for Eli. He's obviously been counted on for the last couple of years, but this year as well, definitely one of those leaders in the locker room, the defensive tackle position, and just on the team in general. So looking forward to have that conversation with him earlier in the day. You'll hear that here in just a little bit. Did want to go through our email inbox just quickly, going back to the sports movie debate that we had in the first segment of the show earlier on today. Dan Jackson emails in, says, one of my favorite baseball movies. It's called It Happens Every Spring, starring Ray Milland. Anybody ever heard of It Happens Every Spring? I see shaking of the head no from both of you. Neither have I. I'll add it to the list. I'll go watch it. So thanks for the recommendation from Dan Jackson via the Rick Electric email inbox, studio@bison1660.com. John in West Fargo called in, though, in the last segment. Wanted to talk a little bit about that Twins game from yesterday. Kyle Farmer got hit in the face by a pitch from Lucas Giolito, 92 miles per hour. That's why you can't get out of the way, because it's 92 miles per hour. You really have almost no time to react to something like that. Asking about the helmet, what type of helmet they should wear, like a hockey-style one. Really, in hockey, they only have the visor. So is he meaning like a full cage?
I'm guessing like a goalie.
Almost like softball players will wear that sometimes.
That'd be more college. College hockey, they have the full cage. They're required to. But NHL, you see some guys don't even have a visor. Some just go open. Some go with the visor, and then I don't think I've seen a lot of NHL players.
Now a visor's mandatory unless you were around before it became mandatory. Then they're like you get grandfathered into not needing a visor or something like that. But yeah, they don't need the cage unless they've had like a puck to the face or something. Then typically they do have to they'll put a cage on because they have a mouth injury and you need that thing on there. I don't think it's ever going to get to that point. Baseball they've added to the helmet. They've added that little face guard thing in there. But sometimes it's not going to stop everything. And the other side of it, too, if you talk to any baseball player, they want less on the helmet because the last thing you need is a cage over your eye. You got to be able to see you got to see the baseball. So if something gets in the way of your vision and you can't see the ball coming in, that's maybe even worse. So it's probably never going to happen, would be my guess. But you do have that every once in a while with the obviously the addition on the helmet, and then college baseball happens in softball as well. Sometimes they add that little almost like 1 or 2 bars more around the mouth area, but I don't think you ever see anything more than that. On the Byron Buxton play, he ran into the second baseman for Chicago, kind of went head over heels. Sounds like Buxton's just fine. He made the trip with the Twins as they're actually going and getting ready to start a 4-game series with the Yankees out in New York today. So it looks like he's fine, but kind of ran into a player at second base there for Chicago. I thought Buxton probably could have gone behind him a little bit. I think it's just a matter of Buck, he's the fastest player or one of the fastest players in the game still, thinking I can outrun this and I can beat this player to the spot and get past him, when he probably, if he could do it over again, would probably just say, I'll take one quick step to the right, go behind him, and he probably still would have been safe at second on a really slow chopper to second base like that. Ends up going head over heels, hit his head first. I think he had like an abrasion on his forehead because of it. He was taken out of the game, but just precautionary. Really, that's baseball. It's a bang-bang play. Just kind of happens sometimes. I don't really think there was much to it. But with Kyle Farmer being hit in the face with the baseball yesterday, it sounds like he's going to be just fine. Obviously, there's going to be a little bit of a healing process. He's probably pretty black and blue and probably pretty sore in the face this morning after that. Lucas Giolito did feel awful about it in the moment. And you were mentioning it to me, Kyle, in the moment when we saw that happen live after the show yesterday of, I think his next 4 pitches were all outside the zone. And you're like, yeah, hard to refocus after something like that. Well, he talked about that afterwards, and this was Lucas Giolito postgame after the hit by pitch on Kyle Farmer.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that obviously I feel very, very bad about. Never want to hit anyone up there. But yeah, so it'll rally you in the moment, but you have to, do what you can to regain focus in the situation, continue to make good pitches, get out of the situation, and maintain that focus throughout the rest of the game.
And it's not even just the pitcher who hit somebody. Sonny Gray got taken out, and he even mentioned like he was really good friends with Kyle Farmer. They've been together in Cincinnati and now here in Minnesota. It was hard for him to refocus a little bit and get back in the zone after seeing that happen to a teammate. So, yeah, especially when you throw that pitch, you're extra cognizant of not doing something like that, and it definitely throws things off.
Yeah, 100%. He actually almost hit the next batter on the very next pitch. It would have been like the knee or like the thigh area. But, yeah, I think he was shook a little bit. And why wouldn't you be? Like you said, obviously that was just a pitch that got away from him. Wasn't intentional or anything like that. But how does that not affect your performance? How are you not thinking? How is that not in the back of your mind? You think about in sports, I always talk about like you want to be playing free mentally. You don't want to be thinking about things. You don't have things in golf. You don't want to have a bunch of swing thoughts when you step up on the tee. Same thing when you're pitching. You don't want to have a bunch of thoughts running around in your head. Something like that happens. I don't know how you move on. It's going to take. I would think it would take. Hopefully you can throw 3 straight strikes. Well, Giolito did not do that. I think he walked the next 2 batters, or at least got to I think he maybe walked the next batter and then threw like 3 balls at least for the next one. It definitely affected him a little bit.
Is there a football equivalent to not necessarily hitting somebody with a pitch, but like the moment where now you're thinking about everything and you're like too cognizant where you're almost in your way? Like maybe you give up a big score on a touchdown and now you're cognizant of a screen or something like that?
Well, there definitely is. I think there's probably too many. There's always the thing about football for me is like, especially when you're like rotating in and out, like I did a lot in the NFL, is like you're always trying to be perfect in terms of like hurting someone. Like I'm assuming like if you went low or something on a quarterback accidentally, or you went high on something, like now that's going to be in your mind the next time you go to tackle someone. Like, okay, well now have to try and bring down this NFL running back, but I also don't want to hit him too high. I don't want to get another penalty, like things like that. I mean, there's a million things in sports. In every sport, you make one mistake. That's why it's such a big adage in sports, like, oh, got to move on, next play, like things like that, because you don't want to let things in the past affect your future performance. Easier said than done.
Yeah.
I know that better than anyone.
I would think maybe for the quarterback, if you throw one kind of high and your receiver gets smashed,
right?
Or you throw one high and they call it a hospital ball or something, he has to go up for it, or you kind of lead him into a defender and just takes one in the chest and gets the wind knocked out of him. Maybe there's an injury that has to be carted off. Now as a quarterback, I'm
feeling terrible.
Everything's going to be low. You're going to take the check down, maybe that kind of stuff, where you're just not throwing it in the same spot because you don't want one of your guys to get hurt, and you not want to put him in a situation where he could get hurt possibly.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, in terms of getting someone hurt, that's the last thing you want to do. I was thinking too, just not in terms of getting someone hurt, but like you start throwing 2 or 3 interceptions. Now, we've seen that before.
Playing tight.
Exactly. And now I'm going to take the check down every single time, or I'm going to overthrow a guy to make sure that either he catches it or no one catches it. Things like that happens in sports all the time.
Sure does. But good to hear that from Lucas Giolito. Obviously, remorse, didn't mean to do it. Clearly, you never mean to do something like that. Got away, but a scary scene nonetheless. And thankfully, it sounds like Kyle Farmer will eventually be okay and no major fractures there. But just the fact that everyone's like, oh, it's okay, he's going to be fine. And it was, got to realign the jaw. Like, gosh, the force on a baseball. Again, why I think it's up there as scariest things to do in sports is stand in a batter's box and see someone throwing 100. And one, try and hit it. It's one of the toughest things in sports to do. But two, just standing in there and seeing that thing whisk by because you can hear it. It's, for me, one of the scarier things to do.
What about, would you rather stand in the batter's box with someone who throws 102 or stand in the ring with, like, Mike Tyson in his prime?
I'd rather go with the baseball now.
Same.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not getting in a boxing ring with any professional fighter.
I can just back out of the batter's box and swing 3 times. Okay, I'm out.
I'm out. See you guys.
later.
Yep.
You gotta take at least one punch before that thing's over.
Oh, no, it would only be one punch,
Yes.
much less at least one. It would absolutely only be one of them. Another thing I think about is a goalie in hockey. A rubberized puck coming, again, well over 100 miles per hour at you, and some guys have to save it with their mask, like their dome. That also is not the most fun thing in the world. Even blocking a shot as a defenseman. Those guys are hobbling off after one blocks, in their ankle or skate or something like that. Not something I would ever want to do. Let's take a break, though. We'll come back, talk Bison defense. Defensive lineman Eli Mostaert. Got a chance to catch up with him earlier today at spring practice. Have that conversation for you on the other side when we come back next on The Insiders.
The most complete Bison coverage in the region. Your Bison Nation station, Bison 1660.
We take great pride in really doing all the research and the work behind the scenes to make sure that our products just work.
We have our own staff member that helps pick the hybrids and the varieties that work in our area. It's meant for you, not for somebody 200 miles away.
We test our seed locally. We produce our seed locally, so we get to see our production fields, where they need to be, and if they work there.
Need seed? Think ProSeed. ProSeed.net. Great seed at a reasonable price.
Attention all North Dakota veterans. In a partnership with the Veteran Service Office, Healing Hyperbarics is proud to announce all North Dakota veterans can receive hyperbaric treatments at no cost to them. Whether you're treating for post-traumatic stress disorder, post-COVID long hauler, or chronic pain, or others, Healing Hyperbarics is your one-stop shop for total body wellness. Inquire with your Veteran Service Office for more information on this grant, or find us at healinghyperbarics.com. That's healinghyperbarics.com.
Experience is what builds the future of glass at Cardinal IG in Fargo. Cardinal IG is leading the industry in the development of superior glass for the residential window industry. Their highly motivated and talented employees design and manufacture the best glass in the industry. This April, Cardinal IG would like to say thank you to Augustin Kebisari, Aaron Monkman, Kali Momo, Georgia Gunty, Shepard, and Ramaji Yarangar, who are all celebrating their first year at Cardinal IG. To view open positions or to apply, visit cardinalfargo.com.
Hi, I'm Grant Nelson, NDSU Bison basketball player. Whether it's playing basketball or driving in my car, I want to do everything to the best of my ability, on the court and off the court. So when I'm in the car, I up my game with the Drive for Less program from Nodak Insurance. I could save up to 30% on my premium just for driving safely. To me, that's a slam dunk. Download the Nodak Insurance app today.
Ram Truck Month is going on now at Corwin Ram, and the deals are hot. Drive off in a new 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn 4x4 with financing as low as 1.9% and up to $6,500 off in rebates. That's right, financing as low as 1.9% and up to $6,500 off a new Ram 1500 Bighorn. This workhorse of a truck has the power and towing capacity to get any job done. Shop Corwin Ram's big selection of in-stock inventory now and save. Online, CorwinAuto.com.
Dakota Refrigeration, now known as DRI, has been serving Minnesota, the Dakotas, and Montana for over 4 decades. Locally owned and operated since 1974, DRI is a full-service source for your refrigeration, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and electrical service needs. From the entryway to the kitchen, from hot to cold, from dreary to bright, DRI has you covered. DRI, formerly Dakota Refrigeration, with locations in Fargo, Bismarck, and Minot, online at dacref.com.
Hey,
Bison
Morgan
1660.
I got some new music I want you to hear first.
No way was that last night.
I'm really excited about it. Bob 95 FM.
Yep, Micah screwed up. That's on DJ Bindi back there. Told you. I even warned you about it. You were going to try and play some country music. Told you to watch out. Sister station, Bob 95. Great work.
Just giving a little promo for Bob.
I mean, they did great work over there. We just had Chris and John from Chris, John, and Corey in the morning in here earlier last week.
That was Chris's reward for winning.
Yes.
Give him a little promo
there you
here
go,
on
Chris.
Bison 1660.
Chris, John, and Corey in the morning. Bob 95. Phenomenal stuff. I would have gotten that song.
Well, yeah, because you heard me tell him to play it.
I also know that song. I'm slightly better with country music, like more, not 90s or 80s, but more of the modern.
Yeah, that one
country
came out
music.
like 2 months ago.
Exactly. So you get that one. But DJ Bindi got him right there. There we go. Andy, Kyle, Micah in here with you.
Lost his privileges.
Got you on that one. I even tried to warn you.
I blame Kyle.
I don't see any board in front of Kyle.
I blame Kyle.
Okay.
I couldn't have played that if I wanted to.
Just going to keep saying it. This hour of The Insight is brought to you by Hanson Runsvold Funeral Home. They proudly support the Bison. Hanson Runsvold is dedicated to helping families look to the future with hope. And remember, what you do today shapes your memories for tomorrow. Live life to the fullest and enjoy the Bison experience. Go Bison from Hanson Runsvold Funeral Home. By the way, Bert Schnell on the text line. You can text in 701-476-1660. Says, pucks are also frozen. I was a goalie. Yes, they hurt. Be right there with you, Bert. I got hit once with a not rubber puck at a family reunion because they sucked me at goalie, and I was like, I'm one of the younger ones in my family for all my cousins, so the older cousins were taking slap shots, and one of them hit me right in the dome. So not a fun day for sure.
I would say getting slashed in hockey right on the shins. Like, if you're playing floor hockey in gym or, like, with your friends or family, getting, like, slashed on the hands or
anything in the shins hurts because the shin there's no protection on it. Yeah. I mean, it's just bone right there. There's no protection in terms of that actual bone on your body. So, worst injury or scariest thing to do in sports? I guess this is a topic for the day. Send them in. Send us your thoughts on that, 701-476-1660, and you can give us what you think. I still think it's in a batter's box. I mean, 100-something miles per hour. Forget trying to hit the thing, but I'd just be freaked out even standing in the batter's box, in my opinion, because you just never know. You usually know where it's going. It's not going to hit you in the face very often. But on the off chance that it did, I mean, Kyle Farmer, that pain had to just be searing for a little while there. And obviously you know by the reaction, by not just him, but even by the pitcher. Eli Mostaert, though, another scary thing would be lining up opposite of a player like him. I would not want to be there because I would end up on my backside pretty darn quick, as do some offensive linemen in the Valley. Eli Mostaert caught up with them earlier today at their spring practice. Back healthy a bit, which is good to see, and for him as well, getting back from that leg injury that had him up for the vast majority of last season. First thing I had to ask Eli, though, just spring practice, the rhythm, the routine, pretty good to be back out here for a couple of weeks now.
It just seems like it's repetitive nowadays because we get up every morning and get some meetings and practice and everything. So it's kind of getting easier and easier as we go on because we're getting used to waking up early and everything like that and all the routines we got into. So, yeah, I'd say it's gotten easier as we went on.
Obviously for you last year, a lot of time off of the football field was just not what you wanted, and it's a tough road back for you. Just first off, how's the leg? What's stronger? What's it feel like now compared to when you played in that national championship game?
Yeah, it's definitely stronger for the national championship game, I'd say. I've been getting rehab and treatment and stuff like that. that. But compared to the championship game, it's a lot better, I'd say, from there now. So,
what percentage would you say you were in that game?
I was probably like 75, 80 in the game. I'm closer to 90s, getting higher 90s right now. So I'm getting back.
So I think we kind of know, or at least some fans know, about that rehab process for you when the injury first happened, just to play in the game. What have you been doing since the game that's made it stronger?
Yeah, I've just been getting in training with the trainers and everything, Mason, our trainer, and some of the ones in the shack to get some stuff to make it stronger, mobility, flexibility, stuff like that. So.
Have you been able to work on other aspects? Because I know Coach Kramer's not taking it easy on you. The leg's not feeling good, but the upper body, I'm sure, was just fine. So you guys were probably working on a lot of upper body stuff?
Yeah. For the whole time when I was injured, I was working upper body, got that bench maxed up a little bit. But, yeah, I've been getting back to equaling out a little bit. Still a little bit low on all my squat and lower body stuff, but the upper body's still pushing, so it's good.
For that, especially a pretty major injury like that, I would assume a lot of it is just the trust. How long did it take for that to come back for you, just to trust, to cut on it, to put weight on it, all that?
Yeah, it was hard when I first came back to running and stuff like that in December. And then when we got to the game, it still wasn't all the way back, and I wasn't trusting it, to be honest. So, but now I'm getting back. It's getting pretty close to full, and I'm starting to trust a little bit more, making my cuts, stuff like that, and it's been easier for me.
For you now, is it kind of weird to say that you are a veteran, the older guy in the room a little bit? You shook your head even when I said that there.
Yeah, it is a little weird. I thought just a year ago I was a young guy behind Lane Tucker and Costa Chang, people like that, and now it's a little bit weird being older. But last year when I got hurt, it helped me a lot become a leader and coach the young guys and stuff like that. So I've been adapting well to that role, I'd say.
How do you think you fit into that, being a leader? Is that something you had to do in high school, I'm sure, but now doing it here in college?
Yeah, I did it in high school, but now I'd say I'm not a big vocal guy, I'd say, but I'm a lead by example, I'd say, like that. I like to coach the young guys and not yell at everybody and stuff like that. I'm not that yelling type like some of our older guys used to be, but yeah, it's been fun.
Lead by example, let your play do the talking type of thing?
That's what I try to do.
Well, one thing you got as well is a new position coach. Mm-hmm. Coach Phelps coming over here for you, and from the SEC. Have you talked with him at all about just SEC football and what that's like for him coming in here?
We talked to him the other day. He said they didn't run much power. Her gap scheme stuff down in the SEC. They were spread and throw the ball around. So we've all been adapting to new things here, figuring out some new stuff with him, and it's been fun so far.
What's something different he's brought that he's taught you here in the brief time he's been here?
We're focusing more on, I guess, pad level would be a big thing for us. He's very adamant about pad level and getting our hands on compared to other stuff. We've been a gap sound defense, so we're doing a little bit different stuff nowadays. But it's been different, but it's been fun to get to learn some new stuff from him.
I'll just give you a little insight here. We had him on the radio show. He's also an amazing cook, so make sure he's cooking something for you guys. There's a lot of stuff on a grill, I will say that. So you guys should be well fed there.
Definitely. No, hopefully we can get to his house and cook us up some steaks or burgers, something like that.
What have the improvements in your game been over this spring season, over the last couple of seasons for you? Where do you think you've made the biggest strides?
My strides, I'd say, I don't know. I've always been quick, but I've been focused on being more physical in general as I've grown bigger and stronger. I've put on more weight as I've went over the years, but one of my strengths is, I'd say, I learned the offense more than the other teams, and I've gotten to the film room. I've learned how to study better, I'd say. That's a big one.
Another addition to your guys is not your D tackler room, but the defensive line room at least. Hunter Zenzen coming over as well as a transfer in from Iowa State. What has he provided so far? How has he kind of fit into the group?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a great guy. We love him already. He's one of our brothers, but he brings some good energy and a little spark to us that we need from last year after being a little bit down with some of the guys getting hurt and stuff like that. But we need some energy and a little energy boost, and it's been fun.
The guy from Minnesota's not bad, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there you go. Yeah. As well, I saw, I don't know, a couple of months ago, you guys took the plunge. Went out to DL, a little polar plunge there to raise some money for the Boys and Girls Clubs out there. And hopefully you guys raised plenty of money. What was it like? Take us through the experience of a polar plunge. Was it your first one?
It was actually my second one. We did one last year, but a bunch of the guys get out there, and it's like a little fundraiser for all the boys and kids down in Detroit Lake. So it was fun. We do a little thunderstruck song, and then we jump in. It's so cold. It's the coldest water I've ever been in my life. The moment I went under there, I legit couldn't open my eyes. It was insane. It was the coldest stuff I've ever dealt with, but it was fun to go out there and support the community down there, and all the guys had a lot of fun.
Colder than an ice bath then?
It was insanely cold, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What's it like seeing Bison Nation? I know there's a lot of Bison fans there too. Obviously it's DL, it's not that far away, but I think we forget, especially you guys, when you just leave Fargo, you're like, oh, we're out of Fargo, but NDSU fans are all over, especially the upper Minnesota area there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, NDSU fans travel everywhere, and they love us, and we respect them a lot, and we try to put out for them all we can, because they're in the South. When we go to Frisco, when we go to Arizona, I heard there's a lot of people there. My grandparents live down there, big NDSU fans, so yeah, it's fun to go anywhere and get a lot of support from them.
And a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago now, you guys had pro day was going on for a lot of your former teammates. And I know that's obviously a goal for you when you see a lot of your former guys, especially like Spencer Wagey on the defensive line going through that. What does that provide in terms of motivation for you?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to go and watch them compete. And Spencer's one of my close friends, and to see him go through that and excel in that pro day made me want to strive for greatness and do that hopefully next year. So
is that something that maybe you've started to think about as more of a possibility, or have you always kind of thought like, man, I think I can play at that level, come on confidence aspect?
I think I can, but I got to develop a little bit more, and I'm going to focus on this season first and get it done this year, and then I'll focus on the future. So.
And he also said the Arizona game from last year is pretty cool. Another cool one to start this next season, which I know is a little ways away for you guys, but you get started at US Bank Stadium. I would assume you're going to have a bunch of friends and family there, and playing at the Viking Stadium will be a cool spot for you.
Yeah, I'm going to have a bunch of family there. I played there twice in high school in our state championship game, so that was a lot of fun down there, and hopefully we can get a good crowd and have a good game down there.
Well, Eli, good to see you upright. Good to see you moving around on that leg, and appreciate the time here. Best of luck the rest of spring ball.
Appreciate having me. Thank you.
There you go. Conversation with Eli Mostaert, big-time player in the middle of that Code Green defense. He's a disruptor, and need him healthy. Need him on the field, because when he is, it's a noticeable difference. I love what Cody Heisman did and Jackson Dutenheffer, but Eli Mostaert's done it and proven it, and you would love to see him out there for every single game this next year, because it's obviously a big difference. And what he said to me there, was maybe 70% in the national championship game on that leg, and the biggest thing for him was honestly just trusting it. Yeah, couldn't put weight on it for months and months there, and now put all your weight on it and cut and anchor down and push against offensive linemen. There's a lot of trust that goes into an injury like that.
Oh, it is. I've fortunately never had an injury that kept me out that long, but I have had lower body injuries before. I had a slight knee injury before, and yeah, it was the first game back. It was weird, and that trust. And we were just talking about like different things, like in baseball, Giolito hits a pitch, like mentally being able to overcome that. It's the same thing with an injury, getting back to it and trusting it fully. It's tough, but yeah, they missed him last year for sure. And like you said, I think the D line played decent last year. But Eli Mostaert was primed for I don't want to say a breakout year, because he kind of already had that before, but just a really star-studded year where he becomes one of the best D linemen in the Valley. And unfortunately, it was cut short. I guarantee you, they are all the coaches are all excited to have him back and healthy.
Not just losing someone who's good, but like he was a leader in that room as well, where he's on the field and everyone just feels like, okay, we've got our guy. That everyone's got to step up. No one's going to feel bad for you by any means, but it takes a little while to kind of get accustomed to that, and obviously new players have to step up in some different roles. And for him now healthy, I think he said that he's about 90% now, and still not even 100% yet. So going to get better, and hopefully by the time the fall comes around, you got 100% fully ready to go, and game record that he is, and Eli Mostaert in the middle of that defensive line. And I still say, we talk about the great pass rushers, in Bison history. Obviously, one of them sitting right here on the table with us. But I still say that interior pressure is even more disruptive than pressure from the edge. You get going right up the middle, and you force the quarterback to move one way or the other. That's as disruptive as it gets.
Well, the interior pressure is really what helps the outside guys, and vice versa, both ways. If you come off the edge and you force the quarterback to step up and you have a good move inside, obviously that helps. But when you can collapse a pocket, you don't have to get sacks, you don't have to get quarterback hits, but when you can collapse a pocket, get that pressure, like you said, right in the quarterback's face, now he can't step up. If you win on the outside, there's nowhere for him to go. And obviously, everyone knows, it's common sense, it's a lot harder to throw a football when one of your offensive linemen or even the defensive lineman is sitting there in your lap.
You can't step into the throw.
Can't step into it.
Throw off your back foot.
Now you can only go through, one, maybe two reads. Now you got to scramble around. It helps out everyone. We had a great one when I first got here, Matt Grotzik. He was a disruptor. I don't know what his stats are career-wise, but he made things happen in the middle. He just kind of let him cook, as they say, let him go, and did some phenomenal things. And that's what I think Eli Mostaert can, hopefully can do this year again, like we've seen in the past.
And a lot of times those guys like Grotzik are unsung heroes.
Correct.
I don't have the stats, but I think Eli can be a guy that's not only a disruptor, but also does finish the play and gets the sacks and gets to the quarterback, because he's done that too in his career. Obviously a big piece back for Code Green in the middle of that defensive line. Let's take a break. We'll come back on the other side. It's time to take stock of the world of sports. Buy or sell with Micah Bindi when we come back here on The Insiders, brought to you by Proceed, home of the Right Choice and Right Stuff programs, online at proceed.net. If you need seed, think Proceed.
Champions play here. Your home for the Thundering Herd. Bison 1660.
No matter who you follow, some world-class football is kicking off in the UEFA Champions League quarterfinals. Make a run to Twin Peaks Lodge to catch all the matches. While there, score half-price wings every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday in April. And don't forget about Twin Peaks Happy Hour. We've got something for everyone, from tequila cocktails to bourbon or top-shelf spirits served over ice balls. Local handcrafted beer and whiskey cocktails round out this adventurous drink menu. Twin Peaks eats, drinks, scenic views.
Gateway Hyundai has a great selection of new Hyundais on the lot, with more arriving daily. If you've been thinking about a new vehicle, choose Hyundai with America's best warranty. Hyundais are high quality from front to back, inside and out. Right now, lease a new Hyundai Elantra SEL for just $199 a month, or a new Sonata SEL for just $299 a month at Gateway Hyundai. Stop by, the lot is full of new Hyundais, including the popular Kona SEL all-wheel drive for just $329 a month, or rates as low as 0.9% financing. Details FargoHyundai.com.
Pull out the peanuts and Cracker Jacks. The Bison are on the diamond again this season, looking to take the crown as the champions of the Summit League. We have live coverage of both NDSU baseball and softball this season here on Bison 1660. Brought to you by the Bridges Apartments and Farmers Mutual of Nebraska. The schedule for our coverage of both teams can be found on our website, bison1660.com. Every home run, stolen base, and strikeout on your home for the Bison. Bison 1660.
Theraldson Ethanol, the ethanol plant located in Castleton, is accepting applications for a process operator. Work 4 days on, 4 days off, night and day swing shifts. Applicant must have a general understanding of process and operating procedures and a willingness to learn procedures for the ethanol industry. Theraldson Ethanol offers on-the-job training and an excellent benefits program. Email your resume to hr@theraldsonethanol.com or apply in person at 3549 153rd Avenue Southeast in Castleton.
Tired of striking out on the search of your dream home? Step up to the plate with Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty. Todd's expertise in the Fargo-Moorhead real estate market ensures every client has their bases covered. If you're taking a swing, why not swing for the fences? Todd Cattermas is a proud partner and the preferred realtor of NDSU Athletics. Call Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty today at 701-371-4234 or visit him at 4832 Amber Valley Parkway in Fargo. Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty. Moving the herd, one home at a time.
I think what makes Proceed win is we're different than the other companies in many ways with our programming, our simplicity, our non-corporate attitudes, and our personal relationship building.
What Proceed is, we bring back the old-fashioned seed buying experience. We're true seedsmen. We care about everything from the sale to the planting to following up afterwards. That's what we're all about, is just trying to bring that experience back to a personal level.
Need seed? Think Proceed. Proceed.net. Great seed at a reasonable price.
Bison 1660.
What station's this one from?
Bison 1660.
Oh, okay, there you go.
You heard it.
I do. I know this one. I've heard it 100
Come on,
times.
artist.
I've heard it so many times, too.
The whisper
I'm so
singing.
bad at this. I just don't know artists.
As soon as you say it, I'm gonna
I could
know.
sing it like a little bit, but it's not going to help. So I know it's not like Robin Thicke or whoever that guy is.
It's Billie Eilish.
Yes,
There you go.
William Eyelash.
William
Eyelash.
There you go.
Nailed it.
Bring us back from break here on the Insiders. Andy, Rickoff, and Kyle with you. Fun show tomorrow, by the way. Going to have Coach Matt Entz on, and also Tyler Oakes. I'm hoping to have both of those coaches on as they wrap up spring practices for the week, and also get ready for a road series in Summit League play for baseball down in St. Paul against the Tommies of St. Thomas. Right now, though, it's time for us to take stock of the world of sports. A little buy or sell brought to you by Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty. One Micah Bindi is going to give us the questions today as he has prepared the list of buy or sell.
All right, let's get it started. We're going to start. The NBA playoffs are almost underway. We got just a couple more play-in games, but these aren't. This first to start out buy or sell doesn't include the play-in games. This is
the Timberwolves play on Friday against the Oklahoma City Thunder for the 8th seed.
We will be talking about that a little later, a little teaser in buy or sell. The Golden State Warriors, you predicted that they will make. I think you said that they'll go pretty deeper. Brad Jones did. Brad Jones did. The Golden State Warriors will make the Western Conference Finals.
Buy buy or sell. Their first matchup, they're just 6. They take on the 3-seed Sacramento, who can't play a lick of defense. I never really believe in the notion you can just flip a switch and it's playoff time. Let's just flip a switch and let's go. We're good now. I think that's overly thought of. Unless you've been really injured, and it's like we haven't had our whole team, and now we do. I think that was the case last year for Golden State. This year, they've been fairly healthy for the most part, outside of Andrew Wiggins not really being there, and they just haven't played that well. I think they'll beat Sacramento, but I think they're going to lose in the second round. So I'll sell. I don't think they're going to make the Western Conference Finals.
Will it be? Do they get Grizzlies Lakers? Is that who they would play?
Yeah, since they're on the 6, they're on the 2-7 side.
Yeah,
they would get the winner of Lakers Grizzlies. So it sets up pretty well for them. I think they're better than the Lakers, and I think in a 7-game series, they'll probably go to 7 against the Grizzlies. Be my guess. But those two teams hate each other, by the way.
I don't want to buy this, but I think I'm going to. You just gotta, kind of like Brad talked, like you gotta trust the people that have been there, done that.
Yeah,
and they feel like they're healthy. They've been. I mean, the defending champs. Like,
I picked them to win the title.
I don't know if
year.
I'd pick them to get to the title game or to the NBA Finals, but I will pick them to get to the Western Conference. I'll buy it.
All right.
Buy up the notion though. You can just flip a switch. Like, we're not going to play that well. Just let's make the playoffs, and then whatever we face. Well, let's flip a switch. What do you make of that notion? I feel like with some of the
I don't like
football
it.
too.
Yeah,
like, the Chiefs, they'll turn it on in the playoffs.
I definitely don't like that mindset, but I think certain teams might be capable of it.
Yeah, I think it's
And
more.
they might be one of them.
More realistic in basketball and baseball, where you've got such a long season.
Correct.
That you can, dog days of summer. We'll figure this thing out by the time we get to the end of the season.
All right, second one, buy or sell. Byron Buxton had a tough collision yesterday, but he is all right, as what we heard before from Andy. Byron Buxton will reach 1,300 hits in his career. I can give you a reference point. His career hits, he is only at 490 in his MLB career. He's 29 years old. 1,300 hits in his career.
No, sell. He's at 400 now. He's at 1,300.
490.
490.
So, but he's got this season.
Yeah.
The most hits that he's had in a season is 117.
So he'd basically have to play
10 more
9
years.
more seasons.
It's too much math,
and
Micah.
be somewhat healthy. I'm going to sell. He's not going to stay healthy.
I'm selling on
He's just not
Micah
gonna stay
Bindi
healthy.
making me do math.
I'm selling for that reason.
Yeah,
and he's not going to
selling.
stay healthy.
Not
I'd love if
gonna
he
stay
did, but he's not going to stay healthy enough. There's going to be a point where he gets hit by a pitch or slides into a base, and he does something where he's out for a month.
Yeah, so we're saying he'd have to average basically.
Now, if he does
100
stay
hits
healthy,
for
he could
10
get like
years.
300 hits in a season. 'Cause he's probably played like 90 games, the max he's ever played in a season. So if he stayed healthy and actually played like 130 or something once, then I have a whole bunch more hits. But I don't think that's going to happen.
All right. NFL draft is coming up here, and there's been a lot of talk that Cardinals might trade out. But this one, there will be a trade within the top 5 picks of the NFL draft. Buy or sell.
Who would that be? So you got the first pick is the Panthers, who traded up to 1. They're obviously not
Already has
trading
been one.
out.
Right?
Yeah, it's already been
From now.
Oh, okay.
At this point.
Goodbye.
Say, I'll buy
From
it.
this
It's already
point.
happened.
So the Panthers obviously are at 1 now. They traded for it, so that's not going to be traded. There's some rumors that the Texans aren't even going to take a quarterback at 2. Might consider shopping that one and moving down a little bit. I don't think that's going to happen. 3 is the Cardinals. I think that one is the interesting one. 4 would be the Colts. I think the Colts are staying there or moving to 3 to make sure they get their guy. And who's at 5?
Seahawks, I believe.
Seattle is at 5.
Seattle could be a tricky spot, but I think the best defensive players will be there, and Seattle loves defense. Pete Carroll will go defense if they have one of the top 2 defensive players there. I'm going to say, I'm going to buy. There's going to be a trade. I think the Cardinals are going to trade, even if it's just the Colts moving up 1 spot, because they want to make sure they get their guy, because they've been on a search for a quarterback for half decade here. I think there will be one trade. On draft day, I'll say.
I think there will be 2. I think, we can sit here and speculate about who it might be. It could be someone we have no idea. I feel like we see this every year in the NFL draft. There's someone that wants to trade up. They really like a quarterback. That they're nervous about what the team is in front of them are going to do. I don't want to call it panic, but they get some urgency behind it, and they want to make a trade. So I'm going to buy it. I think there will be.
All right.
People saying the Titans are a team that might. Tennessee.
What about the Raiders at 7?
That could happen, too.
That surprises me. They have Jimmy Garoppolo, though.
Right, but
you can get out of
if
that
you
deal.
love a
He's
guy-
an older quarterback,
Yeah,
and
I
you
think
can get
it's-
out of that deal after a year. So
yeah.
He's a stopgap.
All right. Well, the Timberwolves recently lost here to the Los Angeles Lakers.
Sure did.
They are currently favored by 5 points versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. buy or sell. The Timberwolves will win this game and make it into
Sell,
NBA playoffs for the
sell,
second year in a row.
Sell. 100%.
Well, you have to
selling
sell
it.
because you already predicted this.
I already predicted this. They're either beating the Lakers or losing both games. They're supposed to win this one. Gobert's back now. They've lost like every game to Detroit and Houston and San Antonio this year. Frankly, they shouldn't even be in the play-in game. If they could have just beaten the bottom 4 teams in the league a couple of times, they would have been in the playoffs already. But they didn't, and that's what they're going to lose this game as well.
And for that reason, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it.
Sell.
I'm with you. Like the Timberwolves, like especially this season, it seems like times when they're supposed to win, they don't, and when they're supposed to lose, they win. But Gobert is back. They have a little confidence playing well against the Lakers, taking them to overtime when no one gave them a chance. And just the fact that you were so adamant about them losing and you're so confident in this pick, I just want to be different. That way, if I am right, I can have a little bragging rights. We'll go a little optimism here for the Minnesota fans, and I'm going to buy it. I think the Timberwolves will get it done.
You optimistic about a Minnesota sports team?
Well, I'm not a Minnesota sports fan, so
yeah,
sure, I can
be
optimistic.
By the way, Ant also kind of banged up. His shoulder's messed up too.
Nah,
from nasty fall.
He'll play through it. He's fine.
It's not good. It's just not looking good. So I'm gonna sell. Kyle's gonna buy.
One
more from you.
All right. A number 1 seed in the NBA playoffs will make the NBA Finals. The 1 seeds, the Nuggets and the Bucks. Just one of them.
NBA Finals?
Yep, NBA Finals.
Just one of them makes the NBA Finals. Oh boy.
I'll take this one.
From
first.
what Brad Jones said, he said usually the seeds kind of win out. Like there's not a lot of variance in what happens.
Yeah,
in
but
the
I really
playoffs.
like the Celtics. Celtics pound. I mean, it was one game, but they pounded the Bucks like last week. I like the Celtics out of the East, or even maybe the 76ers. No one likes, for some reason.
Both took 76ers yesterday.
For some reason, no one. Oh, I did take them. That's right. Mm-hmm. No one likes the Nuggets out of the West for some reason.
Being the 1
which
seed.
makes me almost want to pick them because I like to go against the grain there. That's tough. You got the Suns sitting there. I mean, who knows what the Lakers are going to look like?
I'll predict what it's going to be right here.
I'm going to sell it. I'm going to say no 1 seeds in the finals.
I'm selling too because your finals matchup, Boston Celtics versus the Phoenix Suns.
Okay.
That's what it's going to
be.
be.
Here first, folks.
I do have a Minnesota Twins one. It could be quick.
Quick.
Minnesota Twins buy or sell they have fixed their starting pitching and they will end top 5 in the ERA in the MLB.
They're currently leading major leagues, I believe.
Second. Currently second.
Second in the ERA. I think it's like runs given, something. Some stat they lead Major League Baseball by quite a margin. So they finished top 5 in ERA. Yeah, I'll buy it. Their starting pitching's really, really good. And it goes deep into the game, so they're letting them go into the 7th and even 8th inning. Look at that.
Yeah, but they got to play the White Sox too many times, guys. And for that reason, I'm selling.
If they can perform really well this week against the Yankees when the Twins never do and hold their bats down, then I'm absolutely buying it. I'll buy it. Why not? They got some good pitchers.
Oh, now you have the optimism.
Well, they've proven it over a couple of weeks here. You got some great pitchers.
2 weeks.
Some great pitchers. Their hitting might not be very good.
Got a long way to
I'm
go.
not saying they're going to win games because their hitting is atrocious so far. But, hey, they've won some games and their pitching's going to keep them in it. There you go. Buy or sell. Well done by Micah Bindi back there making up for the blunder earlier in the show. Well done.
I'll give you another good song.
Completely redeemed yourself.
Give you another good song here.
Buy or sell brought to you by Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty. Trust an expert who knows and understands the ever-changing market when you are ready to buy or sell your home. Todd Cattermas is a proud partner and the preferred realtor of NDSU Athletics. Call Todd today at 701-371-4234 or visit him at 4832 Amber Valley Parkway in Fargo. Take a break, come back, wrap up the show for you next.
Champions play here.
You're vice president material. You're vice president material.
Bison 1660.
Hanson Runsvold Funeral Home proudly supports the Bison and appreciates the commitment each student makes to its success. Whether in the arts or other campus activities, these students are our country's future and deserving of our support. Hanson Runsvold is dedicated to helping families look to the future with hope and remember what we do today shapes our memories for tomorrow. Add the Bison experience and live life to the fullest. Hanson Runsvold Funeral Home, an experienced and caring staff with a distinct attention to detail.
Businesses should know that Consolidated Communications has the only data center in the FM area that is SOC 2 certified. That means Consolidated has tested reliable systems in place to protect your valuable data. That's more important than ever with today's security concerns. Many business insurance companies require SOC certification at data storage facilities. You should work with a local data center that is SOC 2 certified. For scalable, cost-effective data center solutions for your changing business needs, go to consolidated.com/data center.
Great jobs with a great company can be pretty hard to come by. Here's your chance to get in with Earthwork Services in West Fargo. Earthwork Services is looking for Class A and B drivers, heavy equipment operators, and project estimator. Company paid life insurance, health and dental insurance available, and a 401k company match. Why wait? Work for a winning team. Apply in person at Earthwork Services in West Fargo or online at esi-nd.com.
Choosing a new vehicle should be fun, especially when you choose a new Nissan. Built solid, yet sleek and sporty, and never boring. That's what a new Nissan Pathfinder SV all-wheel drive is, and right now you can lease one for just $299 a month, or a new Rogue all-wheel drive for just $199 a month, both with comfy zero-gravity seats. If it's great fuel economy you're looking for, drive a new Nissan Sentra for just $199 a month, with up to 39 miles per gallon. Gateway Nissan has a great selection right now, so stop by for a test drive. Details FargoNissan.com.
Looking to add some light and brighten up the inside of your home? Maybe you have an outdoor project or you're looking to update in the garage. Then the team at JDP Electric should be your first and only phone call. JDP Electric makes the process easy. Their dedicated team of professionals can assist with any size project or idea you may have, and even provide a few ideas they see that fit your budget as well. Don't mess with the electricity. Make sure to call in the pros. Call 701-232-1991 today to experience the JDP difference.
Horn Plastics is celebrating 40 years of top quality products and service. And to show their appreciation, they're offering some unbeatable deals. Now until May 31st, get 40% off all install labor and 20% off select materials. Take advantage of this limited time offer and upgrade with the high-performance trailer and dump truck body liner, including the popular Super Slide bed liners. Don't miss out on these amazing savings. Visit hornplastics.com today. Horn Plastics, excellence for 40 years and counting.
Bison 1660.
You didn't play this one before?
No, this is new.
Okay, maybe you're just playing it during a break. You were actually previewing it to make sure it was...
I made sure.
There you go. Learning.
Do you know?
You never make the same mistake twice. Oh, no, I got zero idea.
I know the song. I don't...
This is not my genre. This is not my...
Your country. I think if I had played more country songs, you'd have a better chance. Post Malone?
I've listened to some Post Malone for sure. I definitely have. I think he's actually pretty good. I like him. Eminem. A couple. I listen to
I would
some
have got
like
that.
Drake.
If you gave me 10 more seconds, I would have got that.
Yeah, Micah.
Sounds like an excuse.
Yeah. Also, apparently an Elite Music Mind. You can add that to the list. Elite Music Mind.
I will.
Micah Bindi. This hour of The Insider is brought to you by Hanson Runsvold Funeral Home. Hanson Runsvold proudly supports the Bison, and they are dedicated to helping families look to the future with hope. And remember, what you do today shapes your memories for tomorrow. Enjoy the Bison experience and live life to the fullest. Go Bison from Hanson Runsvold Funeral Home. By the way, there is also a Bison basketball season ticket holders social today from 4 to 6 at the Shack for all season ticket holders for Bison men's and women's basketball. I encourage you to go out there if you're one of them. Chance to appreciate all of you. Special gift, and the coaches will be there too. I'll even be stopping by. Looking forward to that later on today over at the Shack. We did have the conversation earlier in the show about the scariest things in sports, and it's kind of gotten controversial out there. I still think, in a batter's box with a pitcher throwing 100, one of the scariest things in all of sports. But I think I've actually been swayed. Something else has topped my list from Dan and Minot, and this is a phenomenal throw in to the discussion. A rodeo clown in bull riding.
Ooh.
When the guy gets knocked off the bull, and you got to step in there and be like, "Oh, look at me, giant animal with the horns that wants to kill me. Come run at me right now."
That never even crossed my mind. That is a good one.
I'd even say, if you're not like, well, they're not the ones doing they're just kind of the side act, which I would disagree with. Even riding the bull.
Either
the person
one.
riding the bull.
Yeah.
I know they've got some more protection nowadays. I'd much rather stand in the batter's box and take my chances than ride a bull.
I would too.
100%.
Yeah, count me out for both of those, rodeo clown or riding the bull.
Mhm.
Either one, I'm out.
That was an excellent call by Dan and mine on that.
Yeah.
Well done.
a
Says if a bull rider gets hung up, it's now your job to jump in there and get his hand free and somehow not get kicked in the face or the chest or something by this giant animal that is on a rampage.
Yeah, I don't want to get in the way of a bull. It's kind of like getting in the way of like a bison, of just something that can just maul you over and permanently hurt you.
Would you guys ever want, like, this is on people's bucket list, go running with the bulls in Pamplona or whatever? Yeah, I'm out. I'll stand on the sidelines and watch people do it. I ain't getting one of the whatever they wear, the robes or whatever, and doing
like a
it.
drone shot or
Yeah.
something, and I'll watch it from
Cheer it on.
the safety of a hotel room or something.
That's what I'll be doing.
I think it's movement though. Bulls are attracted to movement.
Sure,
So
I
if
don't
you
care what they're
stand
attracted to.
still
Count
and
me
you don't
out.
seem like a threat to them, they really won't go at you. They're waiting for you to move, and they'll go.
Well, yeah, that's what we're talking about. You have to be involved in the running of the bulls.
So yeah, the
which
rodeo
implies
clown.
you have to run.
Yeah, the rodeo clown, I wouldn't want to be that. But if you had to choose between rodeo clown or the bull rider, out of those two, which one are you going to choose?
I know nothing about either one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
because the rodeo clown, you're putting yourself in danger to help someone
Like
out.
for a rodeo, I'm going to be the bull rider because of one
It's just
reason.
one time.
It's one time. Maybe it's 3 times. I might have 3 rounds. But the clown, you're out there every time. Every single time you
It's a
put your
good
life
call.
out there. So now maybe the rider's got more of a risk that one time, but the amount of times added up, I think, would be a little bit more. So that was an excellent call, though, by Dan. So continue that conversation tomorrow. Keep sending those in all day. If you podcast the show and you listen to it later today, that's totally fine. Text us up, 701-476-1660. Toughest or scariest thing in sports. I think I got a new number 1 right there. The bull rider. Not a fan. Not going to do that one. I love going to rodeos and watching it, but never going to get myself on top of a bull and actually do that thing. By the way, we got some stuff on Aaron Rodgers. David Bakhtiari said something kind of controversial. We got some audio for it. It's a little lengthy. Maybe get to it a little bit more tomorrow and dive into it. Basically said, though, on the Bussin' with the Boys podcast, Kyle, the Packers aren't afraid to just keep Aaron Rodgers and pay him all the money, but tell him just to stay home and not be around the team.
Well, I listened to it, and I actually had to ask you. I was like, did I miss something? Is he no longer on the Packers, which he is, because he kept saying they. The Packers.
They are rebuilding.
They are rebuilding.
They are okay doing this.
Yeah, they're okay being a bottom feeder of the NFL for a year, and they're okay with if they don't get what they want, we'll just leave Aaron Rodgers on the team. You can just not play, and we'll pay you. He said that's a viable. He said third option.
He said didn't think it would get that contentious or get to that point. That it was still going to. There was a deal that was going to be done, but that was a legitimate option at least on the table. I somewhat disagree, but I get his point was they're not going to trade him for something that it just doesn't make sense. Because if you trade him for just like a second round pick and he goes out and wins the MVP, you look absolutely stupid, you look like a dummy out there. So I get that stance of it. But also, one of the worst things they could do is have him still under contract, even if he's not around the team, because then it's going to create a massive storm for Jordan Love to deal with, everybody else to have to deal with.
Yeah,
it's
they
better
have
if
to
he's
talk
just
about
gone.
it every single
Yeah.
week. I can't. I mean, but that's why he was kind of saying, like, well, they're okay rebuilding. So we're rebuilding, so we don't care.
Yeah, just keep him at home. Tell him not to come around the program.
Interesting
I guess.
take for someone inside the organization.
And someone that apparently is a very close confidant of one Aaron Rodgers as well. That'll do it for us on the show today. Big thanks to Darren Mueller, and best of luck to Bison softball this weekend against SDSU. Also thanks to Eli Mostaert for the conversation earlier on today. Again, Matt Ensign, Tyler Oakes tomorrow on the program. Back with you again 11:01 tomorrow. Up next, Colin Cowherd and the Herd with Fox Sports. The 2023 season will be here before you know it for NDSU football as they look to get back on top of the FCS once again. We get our first glimpse of the 2023 Bison with the Green and Gold Spring Game, April 22nd, inside the Nodec Insurance Football Performance Complex.